Hello, everybody. It's Lorecrimes. Wee!
Hello,
How's
welcome, everybody.
Doing? Welcome.
It's your daily Friday, your weekly Friday little chat and chill with us, little God, what are we? What's my actual job description? God,
LoreTube?
Lore
not real.
Parasite.
Yeah.
From four different, four blokes from four different countries, ready to talk about the thing that we love most. I literally blanked. I'm going to say something really foul, but I actually blanked. Oh god. Already being roasted in the chat. Appreciate it so much though. But today we're doing another tier list, boys. One of our favorites. If you're just an audio listener, we'll try and describe it as we're going along. But today we are ranking Warhammer factions based upon their lore. So it's not model ranges. If anyone's got a particularly horrendous model range, you're fine. But, needs an update. It's gagging for an update. As I've already said the word gagging, and DJ Beast in the comments is immediately going to call it out. So I'm getting to it before.
Yes, he is.
Just before.
We love him for it.
But it's ranked based on lore. This is not just Warhammer 40k. This is Warhammer Fantasy too. This is all Warhammer factions. Finally, Colin doesn't have to hear any Horus Heresy stuff for 1 week of his entire life. Absolutely begging for it. Oh, also, Colin, nice jumper. Where'd you get it?
For real.
Oh, he's on mute.
What? I might have been. Yes.
We're just saying how fetching your.
I
your
know.
new
It's
videos.
this
Ooh.
wonderful shirt I've got from a little channel called Lorecrimes. I'm a big fan.
What's a Lorecrimes?
It's where 4 people go to get made fun of by their audience.
Sounds about right. Yeah, pretty much. But yes, so now we've now completed the set. Everyone's got one now, so everyone's happy.
Yeah, if anyone wants any merchandise for themselves, they can go see. We have our links on our website, links on our channel. Go check it out if you want to support us. It's Christmas time coming up. If you've got anyone who you'd absolutely wish to make fun of as well in your life, there's always someone. You can buy them some merch.
You have a family member you want to pick on for no reason. Just buy them our merch. I guess that makes sense.
We're real YouTubers now. We can shill for merch. We made it, boys.
Oh, I just saw the donation from Jack, and he says, "Also, I'm paying for 2
Classic.
Classic. I think we had someone. We had a few donations earlier though, but we'll get. Actually, we get to a few of them just before we dive into the factions here today, though. Anyone else want to read them out?
I just want to read this one because it sort of caught me by surprise. Angry Homunculus just says DHL can piss off.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not sure with that one. I don't know what DHL is.
Like the delivery service?
It's postal service. So I don't know what the context is, but there's a gripe there.
Well, Canadian postal service is on
we
strike
can't say
right
that
now,
word.
I'm pretty sure.
Plastic bag for 5 months. Just can't say that word, unfortunately.
Thank you,
Just
plastic
found
bag.
out about
Bronze.
Khorne. I'm disgusted.
Area one plastic bag. Stuff on these streets, pal.
Dude, it's a horrid world out there.
What is this, bro? Come on.
Hal, you want to read this one, or would you like someone else to take that hit?
Someone else,
you?
please.
Oh my god.
Hal, how was sounding to the Book of Enoch?
That's a crazy statement. That's a sick book, by the way. It's a good book. I wouldn't personally sound to it though. Oh my god!
Is there a giant in the Book of Enoch?
Yeah.
Donkey Man USA, regular, absolute brother. We love him.
Thank you.
If Bretonia gets above D tier, I'm sending Hal to the Astartes Anonymous milking room.
Well, you might be doing that.
So much calcium.
Oh god.
We got a Jack order with the next 2 donations.
Jack N for $5. I hated the Space Wolves till I read their books. Now they're my favorite. To be fair, their books are pretty good.
Hang on.
Also, I'm gay.
He's coming up with the second one.
We saw that earlier. Oh god, they're so much funnier than us.
Good for you.
Colin, this next one's for you.
Parker Summerlin, thank you for the 5. Hey Colin, when can we expect a Bretonia pub quiz? Eli's the one for that, not me.
I gotta read a few books for that.
Don't buy
I might have to run it just so the other guy gets to answer it.
Yeah.
Eli and Colin can like bat it out, and then Andy can suffer.
What are the ones I've won so far? I won Khorne, which was a travesty. I won the Eli's Eldar quiz because I wasn't running the Eldar.
Self-explanatory.
If I win the Bretonnia one, I gotta quit.
Ways ahead. But first things first, though, we're getting into factions. Again, this is just the lore. We are, unfortunately, lore people only, really. So this should be like our bread and butter. I'm not gonna lie, if Leagues of Votann come up, I'm just not gonna have an opinion on it because there is actually no lore. But we've not got to them yet. The first one, I believe, is Adeptus Custodes. I mean,
we're rating lore, right? Like,
true.
What lore? They've got like
Well, yeah, but
they're always side characters.
Horus Heresy
might even be too much.
I've never been gripped by Custodes lore whenever I read the Horus Heresy books.
It's a hell of a way to start that sentence.
Custodes are always just resoundingly like they're present. Thanks for being here.
Everyone likes Trajan, though, right?
There's
Is that true?
a pretty good 2-book series. Was it Watchers of the Throne? Andy?
Watchers of the Throne is really good, but it's like it's split between the Custodians, Sisters of Silence, Minotaurs, Imperial Fists, and like a politician who helps the High Lords of Terror. So it's spread quite widely. So the bits they're in are good, and it's mainly from the perspective of Captain Valerian, but. It's the only time we really have like a spotlight on them, and they have to share the spotlight, which is like there is another one with an Inquisitor on the cover with is it the Blackstone Fortress series? I haven't read that one yet, but it's like there's one on the cover of one of them with an Inquisitor. I haven't read that one. And they're also in the Cypher book as a side character, which are kind of cool. But like, they're basically like, hey, did you hear about the Dark Angels invading the Imperial Palace while we're under siege from Khorne? That's pretty messed up. And the Assassinorum were like,
I saw someone say grippy tier list. I don't even know what that means. To be fair, though,
be gripping, bro.
Oh, on God, brother.
I do have to pick out the as much as like you kind of for 10,000 years they kind of sat there and did nothing. Just glazed the universe.
They die really well in the first Heretic, and also in Outcast Dead.
Damn,
that's I like that.
I mean,
I give them personally. I give them like D tier, but I don't know.
I think it's annoying because like, I would say C, but I want to reserve like top of C because like some of the most hardcore scenes in the Horus Heresy involve Custodes, and obviously when the Emperor does the charge in the webway. That thing is the most baroque, over the top, that is just pure 40k khorne, shall we say? C for Custodes. Technically, that if that's the faction, that also includes Sisters of Silence as well. So I don't know if that changed anyone's opinion. Oh my god! Vault of Terror.
I wish they had some stuff to do. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
Sisters of Silence are cool. They're there.
Yeah, the one in. The first Death Guard, the Flight of the Eisenstein. That's the last time I remember reading about a Sister of Silence.
Yeah.
And she was only in it for the first.
I'm going to stir the pot. I like the one from the Tithe. I thought it was really cool and did the sisters justice.
I have not read that one.
It was a book, or it was a show.
It was an animation.
It was animated.
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
I haven't watched any of the animations. I don't know where to get them for free because I'm not a pirate of the 7 seas. So I have not watched
I love orc freebooters. I love the vampire codes.
I hope
literally Lorecrimes is just for me.
We need animated 40k series like as a proper like 12 episode thing. Like it can be done. I don't care if it's like the most beautiful thing ever. But
if the Lord of the Rings anime does well, that would open the gate for other fantasy.
Can we get Studio Trigger to animate it?
There is the new animation. What's the one coming up?
Like, the Player One or something. One, that's probably not it, actually. But it's something like that. I think it'll be cool. It'll be a cool 10-minute thing.
Featuring Titus. Titus is so if anyone plays Space Marine 2, I think it's a direct follow-on from Space Marine.
I'm gonna ultra bust.
I think Eli did a cum there. What's going on?
I think Eli did a cum. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Sound like that, please. Next one, moving on swiftly.
Mechanicus.
Mechanicus.
They're
are
kind of
great,
fun.
man.
A
They have one of the
minimum.
best
Come
Horus
on.
Heresy
They're
books too. I
great.
give them A or S.
I'm gonna
Just
go
'cause
against the grain
They're
here.
so 40k, bro. They're so 40k.
I'm gonna go against the grain here slightly. I like them as side dishes. I don't think I'm that like lore wise. Again, it's tough because Mechanicus, the Horus Heresy book, is just too. No, it's Mechanicum. Sorry, is fire. But like, what else is there? Like, you know, what I mean, like, there's kind of I don't know what else to get excited about. I like
still have to
all.
read
They perfectly fit the
trilogy.
setting. I don't know.
They've got the is it Forge of Mars, or there's like Forge of Mars, and it's like there's a trilogy of books that are really well received, and I've not read them yet. But they're kind of like a weird faction in terms of like they're like the side dressing to the Stake. It's like Stake is the Space Marines, and Mechanicus is just there. It's like, oh, this is nice. Pair it with the Space Marines. It's quite nice.
You take out the Mechanicus from the Imperium, you have no more Imperium. You don't. The Emperor doesn't get his Imperium because he has no one to build him guns.
But at the same time, you take the Administratum out, and that's the same thing. But I don't really want to read a book on the Administratum. It's like, oh,
it is
dude,
true. I do rather prefer
today.
the side characters.
They
are perfectly fitting.
They do have the one crime, I feel like, in some books and other things, which is like they are the most boring section in some other things. Like it's annoying in some things. It can be done really well, like it's shown in some books, but I'm just not that gassed about it, honestly.
I beg of you all, play Mechanicus. It's so cool.
I
Children
have
of the
I need to play
Omnissiah. Come on.
If we're, I think they're S tier setting, but B tier for actual like lore. I
want to reserve A and S for something like I'm genuinely excited.
Mechanicum is like an S tier book to me, though. I really like it.
But it doesn't carry strong enough.
Mechanicus is so cool. Because there's not a Primarch in it?
No, that's not even my most favorite books are not Primarch ones, but like it just doesn't get me. Honestly, I'm just not gassed about it. Like I don't know.
I think they deserve.
I admit to having a lot of bias because if I had the option, I would turn myself into a tech priest with zero hesitation.
Throw me up. Trays, you know, no, what's the?
I want them to look at me and be confused, just not know where to start.
You know what? I'll go with the crowd then. We'll leave it in A, but I can't. If it's top of A, I'll be upset. I'll headbutt the wall. What's the next one? Oh,
Eldar.
I wish I could say S tier, but I can't.
Just from a lore perspective, am I wrong?
Lore is bad. The Codex lore is good. The Codex lore, reading your Codex is great. But if you read a single Eldar book, then it's like, wow, this sucks. And then
they should be. Come on, give them C tier, please. C for Craft World.
Because their general lore is good.
Do things a lot more than the custodians,
and they look cooler. They look way cooler.
I generally want to ask
Colin, a lot of fluff. They have a lot
and Eli
of
particularly as well. Like how can they be your favorite? Just in terms of like, I don't know if there's enough within them that I don't. That just makes like a personal taste thing for me. Because they're like elves are my favorite and other things, but I don't understand how Eldar could be like for you. Obviously, in your heart, it's S tier. But I can give you 3 reasons. One, I can give you a couple reasons, but I don't know how long we have to spend on me glazing the Eldar again. One, again, you know what? I just like elves. I'll just say it. I like elves. They're elves in space. 2, I like their aesthetic so much. They're like the only graceful faction in 40k. Everyone else is these big blocky stuff. I mean, except the Tyranids aren't really blocky, but I also wouldn't call a carnivore or a Carnifex terribly graceful. They're graceful, they're elegant, everything they do is cool. Like the Craft World lore, these massive planet ships is so cool. Their books shoot them in the foot because like their overall faction lore is so cool. And then we get 2 Ynnari trilogy books that don't quite make it to the trilogy part. When they're allowed to be cool, they're so cool. They were, and Caiaphas Cain of all places, they were awesome.
And Votann exists.
Yeah, Votann. Yeah. It's like, they don't have the books the other factions do because no one will give them those books. And whenever someone is forced to make a book, it's Gav Thorpe on his way to explain why actually exploding ally talk is actually an Eldar win. This is huge. This should happen in an Eldar book.
You know what?
For
You
real,
have
though.
pushed me up to a B. I would say B.
Nice. If you call it, if you just stick to their general lore, they're every single unit in the Eldar is really cool and unique. Like there's no things that are overly similar to each other.
They're really flexible with it too, because like you can make the Eldar, have these like deep, compelling characters. You got Prince Uriel, you've got Eldrad, you've got what Yvrain could have been if Ynnari stuff didn't happen. But if you don't want to do that, you can make them like Fey elves, where it's like they're going to come out of nowhere. They're going to give the guy to your right a handshake and all the money he could want, and then they're going to shoot you because they're operating on a plan you just don't know.
Yeah,
like
they're
you
also
do so much with them.
They're super alien in the books. Like same hand has some wacky like upside down forest, and they all float on these little wacky discs, and like they're very unique, and they have their moments.
I think we do have
give them B tier, bro.
Asserman,
yeah, I think B tier. Andy B tier.
The Phoenix Lords are also
going off
Phoenix
like
Lords
aesthetics.
The Phoenix Lords are cooler than Primarchs.
I just gave a bunch of
The
lore.
lore is part of the aesthetics as well. It's not necessarily just the tabletop mini.
Bro,
right.
they're
you
they're
boys,
really cool.
fine, all right.
Like
you.
if you look at the Custodes Codex and read the
I
Custodes
just gave
Codex
it a
lore,
B. Come
okay,
on.
all right,
The salamanders, the lamenters, the supposed best good guys in the setting. When was the last time they built a soup kitchen, Andy? Because Asserman did that.
They made the soup kitchen with their blood. It was inferred.
Yeah, all right. We do have quite a few donations.
Anyway,
we'll try to keep up, boys, because they're quite on point. The next one is though, Astra Militarum / the Guard. I mean,
like, on S tier, bro. Every guard book I've read has been enjoyable. I've never read a bad guard book, even though most of them they just all die in the end. But they have, they have Cyphus Kaine. They have every character in the old Imperial Guard codexes. They have every Imperial Guard regiment, which is all quite unique from each other. They're the freaking heroes, bro. They're heroes.
Have I been saying it wrong? Is it Cyphus?
No, it's Caiaphas.
Caiaphas, sorry. Yeah,
oh my god! I literally was like, because I'm making a video on that. I was like,
speaking of names, as someone who's almost finished every Astra Militarum regiment lore that I could do,
nice.
Some of them just have weird, fun names like Lugnum Suarat. Hello, Lugnums. Like, they have weird lore as well as good lore. Like, do you want to know about the Drukian Fen Guard, who basically trade the equivalent of space cows to the Astra Militarum, and if they can't produce enough meat, they're like, all right, then you can have my son. Like, all right, that's fun. That's some world building. I like it. It's cool.
Also,
Kaine, Yarrick, Gaunt's Ghosts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Imperial Guard also includes Imperial Army lore, in my opinion. So Great Crusade stuff too.
Sure, they got to be an
they're totally have to.
As well, Andy. I think there's quite some of them.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
We should probably try to keep up, just because.
So Nolan Baker has been a member for a month and says, "Why does Colin look shirtless in the merch?"
Bro, like look at me, dog. Like my wife told me this looks exactly like your skin. She picked the color for me.
Set got it for $5. Has got a hold of Prince Uriel and got to say, big. Not bad in my opinion. Enjoy building him.
Heck yeah, he's so awesome. He's such a cool model.
Good taste. Tom Warren for $5. The Leagues of Votann have a video game full of their lore. It's not a Warhammer game, but it still exists.
Very funny.
You can't count it. It's literally not the same thing.
Their whole lore is April Fools.
I love Rock and Snow.
Funny $5. It's a beautiful sunny Friday. The Lorecrimes gang is streaming, and I can hear the arguments coming with this list. Glorious and Sigmar's blessings.
Thank you.
Here he is. Going back up 30 squigglies. If any of the worshippers of Gorka Morka brackets and Boy God by association get below a B, I will rotisserie chicken you like
strongest soldier.
Like it's also good to be back from army and in a stream finally. Thank you, Incline Backer.
We gotta send this guy a Boy God merch once we get Boy God merch.
Yeah.
Brian Isaac's $2 Vaults of Terror book series. That was the one with the custodes on the
front. Yes. That's the one.
Good catch. Galactic Stir Bar. Jesus Christ. $2.
Believe in you.
You get excited about the toasters for AgMech.
It's a classic. Thank
Depends,
you.
depends how many slots they have, you know.
Angry homunculus for £5. If the Eldar were more like J.K. Simmons from Baldur's Gate 3, great reference.
I saw that one. I don't get it.
If I knew who that was, yeah, that would be.
Oh,
great.
he's Spider-Man. Curse you, Spider-Man! I work for
J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, J. Jonah. He's also
but I don't know.
Whiplash in that movie.
I can't remember the name of the villain
also...
he plays in Baldur's Gate 3, but it's like an immortal elf. And
J.K. Simmons, Baldur's Gate.
he's like a servant of the Source. People have to correct me, but that guy's so intimidating.
Ketherick. Yeah, I didn't get that far into Baldur's Gate.
We got another donation, but it's a bit edgy, guys. Anyone want to read that out?
I'll take the
Calls get
Okay.
H. Neela for the 5 BGN. Lorecrimes have the best lore. They'll join the tower.
That'd be quite the story.
I didn't know they were fans of Warhammer. What's going on?
Christ alive.
I like elites.
What is this?
Is that Ogre Kingdoms? No way.
He's got an axe.
Can we zoom in? Can we zoom in and enhance?
Enhance image.
Is that a khorne guy? What is that?
What are you?
There is AOS.
It looks like Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I think that's a khorne guy. He has 2 axes.
Or it could be
Morse corny.
When they don't
Blades
have
of
Morse
khorne.
guy.
That's what it is.
Blades of
Blades
Khorne.
of Khorne.
I didn't know that existed, bro. So F, I guess. I don't know.
They're not too bad. They are trying some new.
Blades of Khorne.
They're trying some new interesting characters with that one, like variations on their war leaders. Again, it's very like it needs longer to cook a lot of Age of Sigmar stuff. So, I mean, I've had to put it in D just because I know it's like it's not dog water, but like it's not F. It's not completely hate. Like I hate it.
The backstory to Age of Sigmar was after they basically conquered the mortal realms. Khorne turned around and fought all of the other chaos gods at once, which was I don't know. It was pretty neat. I don't like Khorne, so I don't need to be convinced to not put it into D. Believe me, I'm here with you.
Khorne fighting all the gods at once, that was pretty freaking awesome.
It was pretty cool. I'll give him
that.
But
that factions lore though, or is that just general?
That's just like general lore.
Yeah.
But it was Khorne doing it, and it's the Blades of Khorne. I feel somewhat obligated to give it to them.
Just unleashing his inner Randy Marsh, just going, I ain't heard no bell.
Although I should point out,
did Khorne make a giant fist to punch a city? I haven't read that lore yet. He did empower Angron to crack a moon. That was a thing.
And lose to the lion.
Chaos Demons is the next one. I mean,
do demons even have
evil?
Are there any books where the demon is the main character other than Be'lakor?
It's hard because, like, as its general lore, obviously demons are not uninteresting. There's one by corrupted Lorgar, Ingathel, which we spoke about recently. If anyone wants to go check out our last Great Crusade episode, Colin's Suffering.
Alpha Legion.
Will never be free.
I mean, demons are kind of everywhere. Samus.
Yeah, they have cool characters. Everyone loves Garbrand. Nikari's neat. But again, Weaver is cool.
They're more so what I was they're more so what I was saying about the mechanicus. They're not even the salad. They're like the ranch dressing. It's like you can season other factions with demons and stuff.
Yeah. Their codex lore is really cool.
To carry on its own.
Again, their codex lore is cool. Like blue scribes are cool.
C tier.
I think C tier at least.
But
I think they're more interesting than custodes still.
Look, if demons were removed from Warhammer, it would feel incredibly weird. But at the same time, I wouldn't be that upset reading a book where chaos isn't the surprise bad guy without fault.
But like going to that same line of logic, if custodes were removed from Warhammer, I wouldn't even notice.
Fair point.
I think they deserve C. They do more than custodes.
That's true.
And their characters are very cool.
Next one
showing up is always fun.
Is that dances all night or just Chaos Knights?
Chaos Knights.
I have not read a Chaos Knights.
Can we put Chaos Demons above custodes for a single line thing Skarbrand does?
Okay.
He shows up. Well, Thanquol was trying to summon a greater demon of the Horned Rat, and Skarbrand showed up instead. And Skarbrand just says, "I'm sorry." He just basically goes, "He couldn't pick up the phone. I'm here instead." And then he just starts brutalizing rats and
That's
dwarves.
another
He was
thing. Demons
balls.
have double the lore because they're in both settings.
Yeah.
We do have he's appeared. Kabanda's mighty Schlong
Right.
of Cygnus.
That's you.
We summoned him while he was speaking about deep.
Nice.
Oh, man.
The
Are there
mighty
any
Schlong.
Chaos Knight books? I have not read one. If there is any.
I mean,
I mean,
it's like the same
technically, you
thing
could
with-
you could talk about House Divine in the Horus Heresy series, where they're like Slanesh corrupted, but it's not a book for them, but they are heavily in that book.
Either.
It's like
Something doesn't have to have a
Yeah.
book like with Eldar. They don't have a huge ton of books, but they still have a lot of their
Yeah.
surrounding
But-
lore.
Yeah, but how much Codex Lore does Knights even have? They have
That's
like
the
3
thing,
units, bro.
the
Well-
Knights and the Chaos Knights are like, I'm glad
we-
they're here, but
Yeah.
should we cover them at the same time just to save a bit?
Yeah,
I feel like
because it's
Imperial
like-
Knights have more than Chaos Knights.
they do.
Yeah, they have houses.
And
They have
Mechanicum or
actual
whatever is
houses.
it makes Knights pretty cool. Just that book alone.
Lord,
Yeah.
High Lord Canorum. Andy, what was his name? What
Oh,
was the
yes.
guy?
Oh, the Eradicator. Yeah, he's got a whole thing. It's just like,
Horric
I'm going to do a
Canorum.
video. I promise I'm
I mean,
going
they-
to do a video one day, and it's just going to be that is most of it. And I'll just
Hmm.
say, he is so and so, so and
Is-
so, and
is a
so-and-so.
knight.
And then it ends. And that's the whole video.
I kind of
but
like
you-
it when they show up quite a lot though with knights. I mean,
Mhm.
Well,
what's the
I don't know, it's always fun when a
They
knight
look
shows
really
up.
cool, too. I love the aesthetic.
Well, the thing is, some of the loyalist ones have cool stuff. Like I think it's House Fironi. They actually kill like Godzillas on their home planet. They kill like gigantic beasts, and that's their thing
Pacific
because they're
Rim?
called God Slayers. And it's like that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
And then some of them are like, there's another house I covered. They're pirates. So Horus found them, and they were like, "We'll be good boys now." And then he became a traitor, and they went, "Oh, we can be bad boys again." So like they thrived during the Horus Heresy. There's some like interesting stuff, but again, there's only a bit of it in the Horus Heresy. And I tried to do a series on Night Houses, and I did 4. And I was like, oh, that's practically all the lore they have. Damn.
they need a bit.
There's
of
not
love.
much left.
They
They
I
have,
think of
they
like,
have like the Freeblade game, but yeah.
it's like in
I put them
Betrayal
higher
when
than Chaos.
they like have the war dog ones and like they roam around like packs and they pull down like a titan by like injecting spears in it and then like
Oh yeah, that was the Ursus Claw.
yeah
Hmm.
I mean knights are kind of I don't know I feel like D tier is almost too mean but again like I don't know if
mean,
anyone is that gassed about knights
Imperial
other than
Knights
just
are
like,
a-
hey,
C tier. Imperial Knights
They're
for
a
sure deserve C tier.
Do I dare mention Dawn of War 3? There was a playable Titan character, wasn't there?
yeah. Gabriel
Oh, yeah,
Angel
that
backflipped
was like
over it.
Dawn of War 3 had a couple good things, and then the rest
Yeah.
of Dawn of War 3 has to be there.
And there was a Freeblade game, and there was a DLC for Inquisitor where you played as a Titan Freeblade. It's like, why? Why do I play as a Titan? Why not? Oh, okay.
They're cool.
They're
Yes,
cooler
sir.
than Chaos Knights for sure, even though the designs for Chaos Knights are cooler.
Yeah,
They
the
actually
design
have
for
more
Chaos
stuff.
Knights. It's
Mm,
not
Um,
it's not ranked off their miniatures though. But...
Chaos
Ooh.
Spice Marines.
I think I'll just be quiet here.
I
You
Why?
don't like Spice?
I
You don't like Spice Marines?
because I look at the Chaos Space Marines. I don't like. All right, how about I'll start nice. That might be the single best 40K Codex cover. That is unbelievably cool.
pretty good. I
Uh,
think they deserve A tier.
I think I look at them. You see, that goes hard. I'm not gonna lie. That art goes so hard. But the problem is, I look at that art and I go, "Damn, these guys are evil. What do they got for me?" And then I hear, "I hate my dad so much."
so bad.
We have that. You do. To be fair, you do have that, but you also have things like Sindri.
You're on
This is
Black
very
Heart.
true. You're on Black Heart is cool.
I
Their
mean,
highs are really high. Their lows are pretty low. I don't know.
Word
I mean,
Bearers,
some of them are-
Iron Warriors, Alpha Legion.
Yeah, they have I think they're at least A
Night
tier.
Lords
There's so
trilogy.
much lore.
Yeah, like there is
A lot of
so
it's
much
really
lore.
good.
Night Lord trilogy.
Abby's Bile
Oh,
books.
Night Lords. That's good, cool.
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah, give him F tier for the Night Lord trilogy.
bro,
Yeah,
how can you say that? Have you read
I-
it?
I think A tiers deserve.
I've started reading it. I will forever mauled about Jane Czar.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but there's the thing. It's like
Fine.
the
James
thing about
Arbogast
Chaos
in
is
most of the book, anyways.
it's so vast. They have really highs, they have really lows. But the main unifying thing is they have like it's is it fair to say the second most lore because they are Space Marines and Loyalists have
Yeah.
more, but then like Chaos Space Marines are also everywhere all the time. So yeah, they have stuff.
And they're really cool when they show up in books.
I miss
It's
them
better than
being honest.
Mechanicus, surely. Lore-wise,
yeah.
they're better than Mechanicus.
Definitely. Oh, here we go.
Cities of Sigmar.
No any of the lore.
I'm gonna say high C, low B. They've got there's some pretty cool stuff is cooked up. They've got like I think one thing I like a lot is when they did their big model refresh they had lately that updated them from just being like old fantasy models. They created this character, and the whole idea was like she just reformed their entire goddamn military because, as it turns out, guy with spear is faith, steel, and gunpowder is good, but also goddamn Scarbrand is right there. I'd like to take her gun.
Can I ask you a question, Colin?
Yes.
A prominent YouTube Age of Sigmar player I heard recently say, in his opinion, they shouldn't have made Stormcast Eternals the poster boys of Age of Sigmar. It should have been Cities of Sigmar. Opinion?
That's pretty big.
That was a big sigh.
I get where that opinion comes from, and I don't completely disagree with it. But I also kind of like that they tried to make the Stormcast the same level as Space Marines, and it didn't pan out. Because as a side effect, in my opinion, it ended up giving the Stormcast more depth than they would have otherwise had if they were just, look, guys, it's the Space Marines again. But now they're on the ground.
I think it would have just felt like they were trying to recreate Fantasy, but with a new layer of paint on it, rather than
which
is kind of what they did, originally.
Because I think
Cities of Sigmar,
I think the big problem they had was like once you've got Stormcast Eternals and they all look gold and blue or a little bit silver, it's kind of like you can't distinguish them from one another. Whereas Cities of Sigmar has more personality in terms of like, they have actual faces and more character, and they're not as like I guess homogenized, maybe like they're not as copy pasted as Stormcast Eternals.
Although I'm gonna bring up that color compliment when we get to the actual Space Marines, Andy. I'm gonna hold you to that sentence.
All right.
Yes, high C.
Dark Angels.
They're cool. They've got some stuff cooking now. Like there's this like religious prophet lady who, on the one hand, single-handedly ruined the Cities of Sigmar military campaign because she started seeing Sigmar's holy light in fucking wheels. She went off her rocker. But also, I know describing it like that is weird. But like, see, in the lore, it's like, all right, you know what? That's pretty cool. I hate you. You ruined everything that, the other lady who reformed their entire military and kicked ass did. You kind of ruined what she did. But also, you ruined it in a Warhammer way. So, you know what? Fair enough. I'm glad you're here.
Respectable.
Well, Dark Angels.
I think Dark Angels suffer from the same thing the Eldar suffer from.
No one who writes their books likes Dark Angel.
Yep, their Codex lore is so cool. They have the best aesthetic of any Space Marine chapter of Legion. And then you read their books, and they're just such dicks. They're just so awful.
Yeah,
they're a bit on the older side. Some of those books, though, so they're kind of more in the grim dark vibe of when they were like properly grim dark.
I like Purging of Cadillus. I think they're actually pretty nice in. But I just finished War of Secrets for a second time, and they're like, they spend the whole book of War of Secrets just we're brainwashing our Primaris. We're gonna kill all of the Angels of Absolution. We're gonna make deals with the Tau.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Or even the new Cypher book, where it's like, we're going to invade the Imperial Palace and kill a custodian if we have to. Guys, what are you doing?
There's a fallen on the planet again.
Yeah. And it's the big one. And the bit where like 7 of them gang up on a custodian and he kills like so many of them instantly. And because they have a librarian called Mordecai, they kind of get away with it. But it's like, dude, that's a custodian. What are you doing?
Dark Angels would be great with nursing home residents because all of their lore is about falling.
Me, a Black Library author, trying desperately not to write another book about the Fallen plotline.
I'm
Oh, like,
and I can't be redeemed.
Lion
So-
Sons of the Forest is a good book. Its problem for the Dark Angels is it's confirmed my fear for one of the outcomes of the Fallen getting resolved, which is it's a big old wet fart of nothing. Oh, by the way, the Primarch's back and we're done. Everyone's happy and loves each other now.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
Luther's still on the loose.
Luther is, but like the rest of the Fallen are just like Lionel Johnson is just going around like, are you chaos corrupted? No. All right, come on in, buddy. And then the Dark Angels just have to suck it up.
It's going to be a really difficult balancing act. Whoever does like Lion versus Luther, and maybe also what's the Demon Prince Dark Angel? He's got like a lion's face.
He broke Luther
Marbas. Yeah, Marbas is the guy who broke him out, and he's a demon prince, and he's like the only demon prince from the Dark Angels. And say that's kind of unique. Like him and Luther. Are you going to do like a whole series of books about that? Are they then going to like kill them all, and then it's like, oh, we just have Dark Angels, no more Fallen ever again? Like it has the problem of like, yes, it resolves a plot line, but also now, what do you do with the Fallen?
Yeah.
What do you do with Cypher?
Guy Haley needs to write
like
it.
That slap on the wrist. I don't know.
That man is willing. Like he'll properly put in there like, and then the actual chapter Dark Angels secretly were killing loyalist Fallen. He'll do it because
they already did that with the Marines.
Especially with the revelation that the Emperor speaks directly to Cypher in his book, and he's like on the threshold to the throne room. And he's just like, "Begone, Fot," and he goes, "Okay," like what? Okay, so that whole book was kind of pointless. I guess
he literally says not yet, and then so like, "Oh, we're back in a bit." Then.
Yeah, he goes, "Be gone." Yeah.
I honestly think they should be like
B,
by this like low B or high C, just because their aesthetic is cool. Their overarching lore was really good, and then you read a Dark Angels book, and I fallen, and I can't get up, and I fallen, and I love the Fallen.
Yeah,
extra Fallen, hold the Fallen on the side.
I think
please.
they just go below Eldar and B tier.
That's fine.
Because Eldar have the same thing.
I will say, if they make an animated short in the style of like 1930s American cartoons, or Asmodai is just sitting there watching the lion bring back all these Fallen, and he's like got steam coming out of his ears like Popeye the Sailor Man, instantly we'll bring it up to S tier because that would be the funniest thing.
What's the name of the Looney Tunes guy? He's just like, I'm gonna get that wabbit, but it's Asmodai looking for the Fallen. I'm gonna get that dastardly Cypher.
How am I forgetting that guy's name?
Well, that guy.
Yeah.
What is this?
Oh, that's the
instant S tier for Colin.
How about I try and justify it? How about we start with that?
Okay.
I won't start with the exact reason Eli said S tier for Colin. Look, the cities of Daughters of Kaine are why I like AOS's plotline so much, because it just moves. Things happen, and people are allowed to do big things. Morathi started Age of Sigmar getting backhanded by Nagash because she kept trying to worm her way in with everyone, and she had the wonderful idea of trying to seduce the skeleton, which went as well as you would think. She was humiliated. She set up the cult of Kaine and was like, hey, everyone, look, we're going to bring back Kaine. I have his heart. We found his remnants. We worship it. We're going to bring back Kaine, which could happen. Except she was lying, siphoning the power for herself. And if that plot line were to happen in 40K, or even, I would even say fantasy, it would have either never happened, and she would have always been on the brink of becoming Morathi Kaine, or it would have been Ynnari'd and gone wrong, and we'd be back to square one. She did it. She's a full-fledged goddess now.
That's cool.
All I can say is seduce the skeleton sounds like some kind of weird carnival game. You just go to like carnivals like seduce the skeleton, win a prize.
The bone on that.
I would honestly say A tier, because it's like just things happen with the Daughters of Kaine. You can see their society like splitting now, because some of them are like, I do not like Morathi. It turns out she was lying to us because she's a god, and I don't see Kaine anywhere. Others are like, well, she's God. She's got a good point now.
I'll take your word for it being A, but I don't know if top of A is just.
I'm fine bringing it down a bit, but also it's really cool. Like their Daughters of Kaine lore is honestly really interesting and actually goes places.
Huh.
Cool.
Do you want to read some donations before the next one?
Death Guard.
Death
Okay.
Guard. Yeah.
Let's just do the donations quickly. So DJB's Colin
good,
built
we're
like
back
the
to this.
Taliban.
Good, we're back here.
Thank
you,
DJ.
Thank
Oh
you.
dear. Tom Warren. My favorite demon lore is when Gotrek kills them.
Nice.
Absolute mad lad.
Hell yeah.
Do you want to read this one? How? Because you were so excited to see him.
Commander's mighty schlong of sickness. How ducking dare you? Thank you, brother.
Sorry, bro.
Caleb Collins, $2. Sabwunder, he wrote. Fight with Sadie at Eternity was great. Oh, Sandy. God, how did I read? I'm terrible at reading. Crimson. Is that Crimson Glory? It's not Crimson Glory. That's just Crimson.
Crimson, no, thank you.
£10. The blush
Thank
on
you.
Collins' fleshy cheeks reminds me of the pink mush on the ground. After sounding to Eli's arch.
Oh my gosh,
Anyways,
bro.
love the content, lads.
Come
Keep
on.
it up.
Come
God,
on.
that's horrific.
What is
At least
going
you
on?
gave $10 to say that.
I think I hate all of you.
Main event Virgil for €5. I want to thank you, Colin. I'm learning where to put reflections on my non-metallic metal sphere thanks to your forehead. Jesus.
You know what? That was almost a compliment if you look really hard and ignore half the message. You're
Caleb
welcome.
Collins, $5. Who did more damage, the Dark Angels or the Alpha Legion? Also, Uwu nuzzles your
read that.
next
Don't read that.
wrists.
Don't read
Go
that.
higher.
Thank you,
Malek,
Butterfly.
the true Phoenix King Uwu.
Hey, that's right, baby. That's right. We got the birth
Thanks,
certificate.
Caleb.
I'll
Don't
take
you-
this one. I'll take this one.
Okay.
They're asking me. Donkey Man USA with the 5. You're an inch in Malekith, and Marathi is 4 inches in you. Which person busts first? Count me.
Wow.
We can go to
Oh,
the Death
dear.
Guard now.
Death
On to the
Guard.
Death Guard after that.
Speaking of
What a
Death
great
Guard, though,
transition.
I feel like they're exactly the same vibe as Dark Angels in a weird way. Like it does. Like I feel just the same about Death Guard as I do Dark Angels. I'm like, there's some cool stuff in there, armor and like designs. Mortarion is a cool looking demon Primarch. They have some cool moments, but then a lot of it is just like there's some frustration there.
I haven't read it, but I've heard Lords of Silence is really good with the
They do
the war
the
band.
best, like one of the better. Lords of Silence is one of the best books to explain how chaos corruption works. That does honestly for me put it into like because I'm not like if it was just Death Guard, a lot of the stuff it would probably be top of C because I know they're like reasonably light and they're not bad. But honestly, they do have some banging books. They are in fighting White Scars a lot of the time, and it's quite good to have that contrast.
Losing.
Yeah, big.
I mean, yeah, it's the shame. The thing I find difficult about them is like they actually surprisingly have a lack of characters in it. Is like what was it, Typhus and Mortarion? That's kind of it. And then again, the Lord of
they have
Silence
some weird stuff. They do have some weird stuff. Like there was one time a Death Guard. He's a main character. He's a character. I can't remember his name. It's like Poxulax or something. He fought the Sons of Dawn chapter master Alexandros the Great, who died from a wound inflicted with poison. And then every chapter master has to drink his poisoned blood, which led to Alexandros the Mad. And then there's a new one called Alexandros the Blind, who's actually he's a blank, so he can quell like psychers. And I was like, that's a really specifically weird story, and it's kind of cool. Thanks, Death Guard. But again, they're
like tangentially related to that.
They're just slightly related.
Stay away from me. You smell.
Yeah. So
I think I'm comfortable with them being there because they're not better than anything above them on the list, and they're not worse than anything below them. So, I mean, yeah, mid. They are like the most mid of mid.
They are undoubtedly
Also-
a part of the setting.
Also, I love this comment from Angry Human because his name is not that. Yeah, his name is Alexandros the Great. That's his
Quite wonderful.
first
Oh,
chapter
is it
master.
Voruks? Yes, Voruks.
It was a homebrew
Sometimes
that
they-
became canon.
Sometimes they don't try.
It was a homebrew, and then it became canon.
Right, that
What
is
can I tell
actually-
you?
Nurgle has Isha in the jar. Wow.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
Yeah.
F tier.
Disciples of Tzeentch.
Free my
Age
girl.
of Sigmar. Damn, that
Got
goat
them here.
picture is so cool. I like that one.
Tzeentch doesn't really do much in fantasy. Age
Yeah,
of
it's kind of-
Sigmar didn't
do
really
much.
change that trend.
I also think they kind of the way they have it is in like the non-space marine tzeentch and stuff. It looks kind of goofy.
I'm gonna fight you on that
This guy,
because the
Like
Zangors actually get
this
to be.
guy's
No,
Slap
not
joke.
Zangor. I mean, like the cultists and all that. Like their cultists and their human followers look a bit.
I'm pulling up the disciples of Tzeentch. And
They're
I'm
just
ready to get
blokes
angry.
who are wearing like a blue shin pad. Like
That's every chaos cultist that isn't like a chaos
Yeah,
warrior
but, like,
or marine. That's all of them.
mean, the
There's
Khorne
no
ones
power armor,
look on
Colin.
point.
You don't
The
get-
Slaneshi
There's
ones
no
look
power
quite good.
armor.
No, the Slaneshi ones look really good.
The Slanesh ones do like go above and
The
beyond. I'll
Slanesh
give you
number
that.
Khorne ones
one.
always hit point. Nurgle ones are easy like to get a cool vibe from, but the Tzeentch ones is hard to. They should have a lot of more like mutated monsters and like crazy eldritch stuff. They don't really, you know what I mean? Like, where's my Nyarlathotep like in the middle of the battlefield making people literally eat their own hands because they're going crazy or something? Like, where's my crazy stuff?
I like the Tzeentch guy who's the two brothers fused together. And
I've seen the trailer. That's fun.
Village or something.
Yeah, Village and side other guy who cares, like Tom.
That's such a
Tom.
trope, though.
Horseman.
You're the big burly one, the weak.
Yeah,
spindly
but
one.
but
It's
but
like,
now
"Hey,
they
guys."
they
It's
upgraded
fun,
the
though.
trope by just fusing them into one being.
Yeah.
And
I think, yeah, D tier for me, honestly.
I don't really care enough to argue that.
Drukhari, Dark
Drukhari.
Eldar. You know what? You know what? I want to put it in A because I find Komara fascinating.
I was gonna.
And all the units are.
Is that enough?
No, I'm not talking about like the unit. I mean like Komara itself, Vect.
Man,
like, they really are like
Matrix or S
terrifying.
tier.
They're pretty unique because they're not they don't have a government. It's a crime syndicate as a whole faction. Cabals don't like. There's no tax policy. It's a protection racket where you pay back to not die.
Yeah. It's
think the way
also
they,
funny when
sorry.
any Drukhari looks at Fabius Bile and they see what he's doing, they go, cute. They're like, what are you guys up to?
I've not really
Plan to
read
go to
a,
Komara.
I've not read a story
Like
in
also
which
that
I wasn't like
they even trained Fabius. They were like, hey, we'll teach you some nasty shit. And he's like, okay.
Mhm.
Just because they're amused by him.
Yeah.
rub some nubs together because they have no hands. Who needs hands in this dark age? Go ahead, sorry, good.
So Dark Eldar also do something that I swear to God, I don't think any other Xenos faction truly gets, which is that in their specific field, everyone just gives them credit for without arguing. Like, look, everyone's going to argue, oh, can an incubus beat, chapter master, biggest Dickus Maximus in 1v1? No one ever argues, though, if he does lose, that he should do anything but try and blow his head off immediately. Like, everyone gives the Dark Eldar their credit of, yeah, that's horrifying.
I vibe with them. I like Dark
them
Eldar a
too.
lot.
I love the
Every time they're
aesthetic.
at least most times if they show up in stories, they're actually quite an interesting adversary.
Their lore is
Vect
disappointing.
itself is interesting.
Yep.
Part
Although
of
they
the Dark Eldar stuff is
Sorry.
good books as well.
They do get completely wrecked in one of the Warhammer TV shows, though. It's the Blood Angels Origins, where it's like, the Sword of Baal has been immobilized by the Drukhari, and they're just kind of dicking around, and then the crew managed to like tilt the ship in 0G and just blast it at close range, and they all die, and they look smug, and then they're like,
It's okay.
"Oh
Drazar
no,
kills
we all
1 billion
died."
custodes. So
And there was the Iron Within, where the Iron Warriors completely maul them, completely.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not.
but they have the problem that any Xenos faction does when Space Marines are also in the book. That Space Marines just magically win.
Yeah,
Lilith Hesperex did something almost unheard of. Had a good Xenos book and a good Eldar book.
Pretty big.
Although to be fair, the previous example was baseline humans. It wasn't Space Marines. It was just dudes. It was just dudes manning a cannon. It was great.
But I don't know if everyone agrees.
Where do you want to put them?
Bottom of A. If
I
everyone's
can live with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they earned their spot, I think. Oh, Fleshy Support. I actually love these guys so much.
They're pretty sick.
I only know what they look like.
Imagine
Colin, do you want to explain?
Imagine the most noble of knightly houses, led by Super King Arthur. He's the most chivalrous guy you will ever meet. All of, the lords and ladies of the court are elegant and graceful, and they go out to genuinely, in their eyes, they will protect the innocent. They go out into the mortal realms to defend, the oppressed from chaos, from the other factions in death, from, orcs, from, even order when Marathi is acting up. And then you look at them from the outside, and it is a cannibal army of ghouls eating you alive. But in their mind, they're fighting honorable 1v1s and saving the day. And also that insanity is contagious. So you will become an honorable knight yourself who just so happens to eat people and use their bones as a stick. And
taking it to the extreme. If you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah. They're literally insane. They are like just insane vampires. I don't know why. Like the general like thing about their lore, like their shtick, is generally one of like the more cooler things. Yeah, I think to AOS, like it's not really done anywhere else.
I would honestly put them in B tier. They're very cool. It is you can do a lot of different stuff with the specifics of their insanity. Usharan is leading them. It's so hard to separate that model from the lore. Oh my, because it's so good. But I'm trying.
Also, Eli, any comment that these are actually Bretonnians? I've heard that. Is that
Perhaps.
Well, I mean, if that's what Bretonnia turned into, then good. Show them for what they really are. They have probably my favorite curse ever. Just one last note, which is they can snap out of their insanity, and then they realize for the past 10 years they've been going around eating and murdering people when they thought they were a knight, and they usually just slip back. They just go insane again.
Jeez,
that's depressing. Love it. Fireslayers.
F for Fireslayer.
Hang on, this is their lore. Give them a C. They have pretty cool lore about like how their clans work and how they're mercenaries who, they're on the side of order, but if you pay them enough gold, that Chaos Warband is paying us. We'll do it.
They're collecting the dead gold of their god.
Collecting their dead god Grimnir. They have some really fun interactions with our boy Gotrek when he wishes they would go anywhere but around him, but they don't because he's kind of an avatar of Grimnir now. Their lore is really cool. It's not the most expansive, but it's cool. Just please don't ever look at their models. I love
Grimnir died. Was it like when? Is it like when Grimnir died? Was it like when Sonic gets hit and he loses all his like coins?
Pretty much, he blew up.
Probably C. I think D's almost too harsh.
Yeah, their lore is cool. The model range would be F.
Yeah.
Inspired
gifts. God, goblins.
I don't know a thing about these guys.
They're neat. They're a little bit more like they worship the moon, and whenever they invade in like the weeks preceding, mushrooms start growing on everything, and spiders will just magically appear. It's honestly really like kind of horrifying, but also they're still goblins, so that
there's a small part in a Gotrek book where they're about to invade somewhere, and this guy he's basically being taunted by the moon in their realm, because eventually he literally is going mad. He just says to his servants, "I swear the moon had a face on it, and then it smiled." So they somehow corrupt the very perception of the moon.
It was the Zelda moon, just there going in space.
I don't know. They're cool and I like them, but at the same time, I can't bring myself to really have passion for them.
Maybe below lowest part of C, maybe.
No, I give them highest.
Surely.
Yeah, lowest part of C, I guess. I don't
like D is objectively bad. C is like, it's all right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, put them at the bottom of C. They're there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be happy if they were gone, but I also wouldn't be sad.
Grey Knights are great.
I love Matt Ward.
I love Grey Knights. Their lore has changed drastically over the years, but I think they're really cool. I think they are what custodes should have been. We should have just never talked about custodes. Grey Knight should be the only hyper elite space marine army in the game.
And
the best
to
thing
be
about
fair,
that's an in-universe opinion.
And to be fair, they also have Knights Errant lore, which is also really interesting and cool, and focal for the Horus Heresy from day one.
And
so it's like,
Kaldor Drago.
I don't know if I'd give them S tier though.
I give him S tier for Kaldor Drago.
I give it
Why?
top of A just because I'm not sure it's like it doesn't have like the best books in the or like lore in the entire series, but generally like if you ever feel like bored of Space Marines, Grey Knights don't really have that same feeling. They are interesting. They don't operate the same way in which a Space Marine chapter does. Titan, they have some damn good books as well. They have their own kind of old now, but their own trilogy. And I think of that moment where like was it one of you guys? Okay, Danny.
Can I offer a counter to all of that?
No.
Andy Serkis is a great knight. Can we just put them in S tier?
Yeah, I agree. Come on, Kaldor Drago.
He's one of the Grandmasters. Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's enough.
Tangerines are cool.
Anvil Thawne, the unkillable space marine who has
And
maybe
the one
been
with the
retconned.
possessed sword.
His sword
Garen
is
Crow.
cool.
Yeah.
There's that
sort of
bit in
anti-op.
the trilogy one where the lead Grey Knight like asked to come up to the command deck, and he starts to talk with his brothers about like what's he going to talk with the captain about, and he ends up bringing all of them with it because he didn't want to be in by himself. It's just so stupid.
Also, lest we not forget, Colin, that Grey Knight's fourth brotherhood were helping Guilliman during the Terran Crusade. Very helpful for getting him back on the throne world.
That makes all of them disrespected.
Pretty cool.
The months of shame exists.
Yeah,
Logan
but-
Grimnar one shots Grey Knight.
You see, but that I'm saving that for when I bitch incessantly about the Space Wolf.
I think Grey Knight's their best tier.
The next one?
personally.
What's the next?
I'm with you, Eli, but I think we've been overruled. Slanesh stuff.
What is that?
Is that Hedonites of
Hedonites?
Slanesh?
Oh, that's the Hedonites of Slanesh.
I don't know. I still don't know any freaking Sigmar lore.
I'd say
They just look
bottom
cool.
of B because they're like Age of Sigmar. It's got a lot of like actively moving plot lines, and their whole thing
Assless
is
chaps, baby.
well, they got that Sigvald and his assless chaps. They're cool. They're like looking for Slanesh, and they are slowly but surely like getting there. Like Slanesh has been breaking her chains a bit.
Idoneth Deepkin's the next one.
They're cool.
I just can't hold it back because like that is an. Oh, is that S tier?
I wasn't here.
That might be my
Sigmar.
Age of Sigmar S tier.
I don't know if I'd say S tier, but I would
It's the most
say A
interesting
tier
part of Age of
definitely.
Sigmar to me. I love underwater stuff. Cthulhu, may he rest in Riley. Thank you, DJBs, for listening to that. I'm vibe with anything underwater. Honestly, I'm just completely biased, 100% though. The lore is interesting. It's kind of grim, darky in Age of Sigmar because they're kind of not good guys, but like they're like enemy of my enemy is my friend. Giant turtle.
Big turtle. It's hard to. You can't go wrong with big turtle.
Can I please present to the audience?
I like
Giant
turtles.
I
like
would
turtle.
put them above the Dark Eldar because
Oh,
they're
wow.
they're like if someone like was given like the basics of the Dark Eldar and said, "Hey, make them not awful. Keep
Dark
like
Eldar, yeah.
I can't.
A
Oh,
tier.
that's why.
They're like
that's
they got the same kind of like general shtick, but they're actively like, how do we not have to do this? I don't like stealing people's souls to live, but I also really don't want to die. So
the way they fight is cool. They have like the mist. What's the mist called again? It's
the Ethersea. They bring the ocean with them.
They literally fight in the water, but in air, like around people. Like it's just so cool, man.
Under
then
the
people
sea.
Get amnesia
Under the
about
sea.
it.
Warden
Dwarves.
Lord is so cool, and then I love their background, their army book rule, their lore. It's really cool. I've never read a single Caradhran book. I, off the top of my head, couldn't tell you if one exists.
I think there is one.
But I really love BioShock. So
That's fair.
Fair.
A man
true.
chooses. Where do they live?
I think we've
D?
no,
They got
no,
no
no,
lore.
no.
they
I'm
are
not
really
lore.
Andy, come on, BioShock dwarves. You can't tell me that's not at least a little bit intriguing.
Yeah, let's go speak to you.
Yeah, but you haven't even played Bioshock. Come on. But it's
No,
like,
it seems like
it's
something.
the lore.
I played Infinite.
That's not Bioshock. That's Bioshock Infinite. You got to play the.
It was
That's
the
the best
first
one.
word. What's the word
The
before
Bioshock
infinite,
you're
Andy?
talking about
Bioshock.
the thing that you're trying to relate to, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're more
Yeah.
infinite than
Big
anything because they
Daddy.
live in these floating sky fortresses.
But Bioshock Infinite's like, it's fine. Bioshock One,
good.
Peak.
They're both good.
Bioshock
games.
Infinite,
Except for the
it's good,
Indian.
but like, no. Bioshock Infinite is good, but Bioshock One is a master. It's a masterpiece.
The ending
Kano
is
is the
very
phenomenal.
trippy.
I don't
I
think
play
they're
it like
deep.
I play it like once a year. It's amazing.
Put them behind. Put them behind the gloomspite gets at least, please.
Yeah,
I think we do have some more donations as well.
Yeah, it's about time.
yeah. we've got Donald.
Oh, Thankwall's shown up, by the way. Thankwall.
Uh-oh.
It's over.
Thank you. We miss you, brother. Set for another $5.
You.
Thank you, brother. It says a compliment for Colin. You are the reason I brought the Uriel model due to some
Huge.
propaganda. Thank you, brother.
Huge.
Nice.
Huge.
Bean.
Bean. Great name.
Bean.
For $5. I was there the day Horus mogged the Emperor. I need that Death Guard armpit stench now.
Interesting.
Wow.
Thank
The
you.
things people
Thank you,
need
Bean.
to say online.
Go to your local GW, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Hello, network host for $5. Hey, first time super chatting.
I was gonna say chatting. Oh my gosh.
First time super chatting. Painting Light of
Thank you.
Eltharion. Oh, Colin will love that. Also looking to
Oh, yeah.
start my own Warhammer channel. Looking on style I want it to go.
Sweet, bro.
Make it your own, brother.
luck.
That's the only thing we can
That's
say.
right.
So do your
Just
niche.
start writing, and
The best advice is honestly just keep making videos and eventually get better.
I know it is kind of generic, but it is generally the best advice. Just start something and do it,
Mhm.
because if you don't start, you're never going to know what works. You're never going to know if
And
you
you'll
can
never
do
improve.
it. Yeah.
You'll never get better if you don't start. So you got to start.
Like the worst thing is when
Hope not.
people, if they start it and they're like, "Oh no, I've got this better idea, and I'll just wait, and then I'll do that one." Honestly, like, because then you'll just stop at some point. You just got to keep going. It's momentum. It's always momentum with
Like no matter
YouTube.
how you feel about that first one, just commit and do it.
All of our first videos are terrible. Don't worry. We
Yeah.
can't. We literally could not listen to our own first videos.
It
Actually,
hurts me to do it.
It's actually painful because we critique it, and it's our voices are terrible.
Yeah.
Raw
Raw
666
donated $10.
Thank you.
Yeah, he says, Colin, thought you should get good news. Red from Overly Sarcastic Productions is an Eldar fan. Also, Empire of Man should get S rank for Carl, Imperium of Man, B rank for constantly fall and not dying.
Yeah, real.
It's well, the first half of that, I do know that, and they gave me a heart on a comment I left on one of their videos, which gave me a little fanboy moment because I like that channel a lot. And it was a comment about the Ultramarines, baby. They better be S tier when we get
huge,
no one
dog,
gets
huge.
but I'll be fighting when we get to the Empire of Man. I'll be arguing.
Strongest defender. Tiago Silva for 2R. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, though. Appreciate it.
I had a feeling someone was going to be angry with
Another
me.
regular. How fucking dare you, the most direct worshippers of Boingom?
Actually, we're the most direct worshippers of Boingom.
Yeah, you are, bro.
That's you.
From Sweden. When is the next Godric Phoenix coverage stream? Probably not that far, actually. We might be on that
it's been a while.
for the next. Been a while, but we'll probably do that one soon, actually. Coochie Slayer. You make that count. $5. Warhammer drip tier list. That's actually a very good point.
Well, depending on
That's a
it'd
good
be
one.
unfair because if it was for 40K, it'd be the Dark Angels and S tier, and everyone else in like F.
Yeah, baby. Haven't we
Alpha
done
Legion
the
would
drip
actually
tier
be
list?
high.
Have
I
we
don't
not?
know if we have. I don't think we have.
Crazy.
Okay, next one is easy, by the way.
I don't care about the next three factions. It's like,
Come on, S for Rock and Stone. Come on, Rock and Stone. I love
literally
you.
not even Warhammer Lore. That's literally not Warhammer Lore at all.
And if Arthur Bones hears you, he's going to wash your mouth out with
We're
soap
gonna get
if he hears you comparing the two.
he's gonna give us all a pipe bomb for putting them in F.
I don't know how he
I'll
has
take it.
such good like nuanced takes on so much Warhammer lore, and then his like favorite thing on Legion of Votann. I don't get it. Honestly,
I think it's just like it's just like he got swept up and like, oh, these guys look cool, and then like nothing's happened, and he's now like, I've committed, I've got the tattoo.
I'm hold that I do like the Leagues of Votann, but I also accept I'm outnumbered 3-1 here.
Bro, it actually has like what? Have you read? Are you gas enough to put it in a higher tier? Are you going to go buy that book?
I'd
That's
give at
just
least
come
D.
out?
Yes,
That was high
Wow.
pitched. Wow.
That was quite high.
I would argue at least D because the basics of them are cool. Like they're the space like they worship these living computers that are failing. They've got like it's all about mercantilism and commerce.
Well, let's reframe this for a second. So like just at this point in time, if Leagues of Votann are in D, is there any conceivable faction that could be lower? Because they've got no lore. What? Okay, this will be interesting.
You understand? Yeah, Bretonia is still coming up.
Okay.
Wait,
Well, with that in mind,
what are these guys doing not in
All right,
F tier?
that's what I said.
Yeah,
I'm
put it in F
outnumbered.
tier. Honestly,
I'm outnumbered. Do what you will.
For the love of the machine spirit, put it in F tier. Which one's that one? Is that Lumineth?
Oh yeah, Lumineth Teclis.
Teclis. Wishes.
I think preemptively I should put this at least here just for Colin.
What is this guy
typing? No, it's not. I don't think it's A tier.
Right, let's drag him down from here. I wanted to keep myself out of this for a minute.
I'm informing someone of the slander that's just occurred.
Mr. Bones, perhaps?
I was going to say, is it a particular Canadian we know? Maybe?
It might be.
Oh no, he'll be in the chat screaming at us.
Lumineth. Their models are so cool because I love the Greek elves. I love like the weird cavalry they have. I'm gonna say it. I really love the rock cow. I like the rock cow.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so weird.
I think that element. Oh no, this is not about design, isn't it necessarily? But
their lore being like they achieve like enlightenment through bonding with like elemental spirits is cool. Kind of reminds me of Avatar a bit. The Airbender, not blue people. Who cares? It's just
I can't say it's more exciting and more interesting than Flesh Eater Courts to me.
I see. They're still they've still been getting a couple new stuff and blurbs and books. They're still missing half their lore because Tyrion has not shown up yet, and half the nations base themselves on Tyrion. And we've really only seen the Teclis-based nations.
Mr. Bink.
Which I like Teclis more, but I kind of want his brother to show up eventually.
The slightly cooler brother. I mean,
also, a lot of their stuff would be interacting with whatever the hell Malekith is doing. Don't know that yet. That's still a mystery.
I don't think it's C tier. I don't think it's A tier. I think it is from it must be B. And I'm willing to put it between Dark Angels and Death Guard because I think it's better than Death Guard.
That would honestly, I mean, I'm okay with that, but I would honestly put them right behind the Flesh Eater Courts.
Yeah, I was going to suggest it, but I didn't know if I was going to get any wiggle room. Yeah.
There we go. We've still got quite a few to go. Nurgle stuff.
I don't know anything about them.
What's the AOS Nurgle?
Boy, it's not a good sign. I can't remember that, is it?
Is it not
Glotkin?
No, the Glotkin are like that's like specifically a model, like that's a character.
Okay.
Oh boy, this is not boding well for them. Maggotkin of Nurgle. All right, I was right, but I didn't commit to it. They sure smell and are here.
F tier?
Put them in D tier or F tier. Who cares?
The League of Votann is for me. It's I can't
live with the others then.
Any higher than that.
Necrons.
We all agree Necrons is S tier.
Come on,
top of S tier. Honestly, literally top of S tier.
Infinite Divine. I mean,
Twice
characters literally Catan, Necron Warriors.
I guess they are.
Every Necron's character is cool. They didn't miss with a single Necron's main character.
Wow, not all of them are cool. Like some of the ones from the Jericho Reach are a bit meh.
Okay, the main Codex guys. I mean, like Zandrak, Anarchy, Oberon, etc.
I mean, there's not like it's not a huge amount, but everything they've got is good. It's like a solid card deck. You know what I mean?
You are never going to be unhappy when the Necrons show up. It is always a good time.
I don't know if I could put it above Guard, just because I know some of the stuff in. The Guard's got some worse stuff in it, but there's some very few speckles of like true gleaming best of Warhammer in the Guard.
I mean, it's true. Just the main cast of the Necrons competing with Yarrick, Kaine, and Gaunt is already quite like an even match, and then there's like a whole bunch of other Astra Militarum stuff as well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah,
I would be remiss if I didn't give them her credit though. Caiaphas Cain has fought everyone in the galaxy, and the ones that scare him the most are the Necrons.
Yeah, we love Necrons.
He would know. He would know fear. He's quite familiar with fear.
More spooky dead people.
They're kind of cool.
They look generic to me. They're like
they're ghosts.
Yeah.
You know what? Because it's obviously Nagash.
It's spooky ghost.
It's really Nagash. He's the main.
I'm going to save my Nagash glazing for the ossiarch. The Nighthaunt, like they have Lady Allender. Her lore is pretty cool, and their overall stuff is, it's like angry, vengeful spirits that are partially angry and vengeful because Nagash tortured them. Shut up. They're cool. I know a guy who has 20,000 painted points of Nighthaunt. He's insane.
What?
I think they're more interesting than Fireslayers, in my opinion.
I kind of wish they just didn't split up the Vampire Count's army. I feel like they didn't need to. But I guess I don't know the lore. Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't be saying stuff.
Maybe here.
Oh, they announced a new Gotrek book, Age of Sigmar, today.
They did.
Another one coming. Oh, okay. Ogre Kingdoms. I don't know why. I just love these guys.
I love their fantasy lore. I don't know what their Sigmar
I don't know.
lore is.
I don't know if I could put them in S tier, but the song alone from Total
Yeah.
Like top of A, please.
They are awesome. Who doesn't love the
It's like a lesser version of the Necrons, where I'm never going to be upset when an ogre shows up.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You know what? I'm okay with it. Yeah. What's the next one?
Love me ogres.
Orcs.
I think it's S tier as well. I think they deserve it.
Somewhere in A, minimum.
I put the top of A.
Higher up in A.
They're like the OG enemy, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna say it S tier.
Yeah,
I genuinely like
it.
The way orcs are done in Warhammer is like one of the best parts. Like explaining orcs to people who don't know about Warhammer is one of the funniest and most enjoyable things about orcs. It's like, by the way, paint and color has different magic effects. You know what I mean? Like,
also,
to be fair, a friend of mine did some voice work on my channel, and she was like, "Oh yeah," so, and I got her a box of like miniatures to get started.
Nice.
And we were just talking about the factions, and she was just like, "Oh, these guys are quite cool. This Sorority has some other ones like orcs." I'm like, "Did you know they're made of mushrooms?" And she was like, "What?" And now they're her favorite faction because they're just fun. Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Ben, who went from playing his first game of Warhammer 40k only a month ago, and then has already got 1,500 points of orcs.
Nice, good man.
Let's go.
Good man. Shout out Ben.
Is that you scroll down a bit more, Andy? I just want to see if that's all right. So that is going to be all of, I think, the Oruk warclans. Because there's a couple different subtypes.
That's fantasy.
This is Age of Sigmar though. That guy.
Yeah.
I would say
not gloomspite.
Top of C. That's like the Oruk warclans, all of them. There's some cool stuff. Their main orc character is like he's for an orc. He's quite philosophical because he's like, I don't want to kill everyone because who would be left to fight? I'm not chaos. I don't want to,
philosophical as Orchimedes.
He's as philosophical as an orc can get, where he's like, look, chaos is whack. Why don't kill everything? That's insane. But also, I want to fight everything. Like all these order, pansies. That's too much. He's an orc trying to find a middle ground, which is just so funny.
That's the craziest thing you've ever said, honestly.
I know. But there's also the Cruel Boys. They're like Tolkien-esque orcs, given a Warhammer flavor. Like they're scrawny. They're not like 8 feet tall and as wide. They're pretty cool. They're actually malicious. I know some people argue that Warhammer 40k orcs
freaking evil
aren't necessarily malicious. Cruel Boys are. They like what they do, and what they do is hurt.
But Colin, didn't you?
Anyone who says that they're not malicious in 40k, I would.
I'm not saying
the Rinsweld book.
I'm not
burning a man Thieverse and giggling. Like
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying people have made the argument.
Yeah. I'm just saying to those people, read Rin's World. You'll change your mind.
Orcs are bad guys. Orcs are not.
But have you
Orcs
seen
are always fun in
Rings
their
of-
opinion. Yeah.
Have you seen Rings of Power with the orc child?
Oh my
and
gosh,
the orc
man.
mother holding the
Hey,
child.
Oh my
have you
gosh,
tried
dude.
exploding hell?
I'm not even entertaining watching that show at
Yeah,
all. I've heard so much bad
honestly,
things. I'm
that-
just like, I'm at an age now where I'm like, this franchise is now like finished for me. I'm not
Yeah.
playing any new games of this. I'm not going to watch any new
Someone
shows.
did
Of this.
murder it.
I'm going to
It's
enjoy it
crazy.
for what it was.
Star
I'm
Wars
jaded
reference?
now.
Don't even talk
Ossiarch
about
Bone
Star Wars.
Reapers.
It's too tough.
I mean, who's the main guy again? It's
Catacross. Hallowed be
Catacross.
his
This guy's
crotch
lore is
bulge.
so cool. Honestly, I want to put him.
Come on.
Maybe
tier at
Bossman
least.
A.
They're
Bossman
so
A.
cool.
Well,
couldn't
You gotta
remember
I
both
don't
of
know
them.
anything
Nagash
about them.
somewhere, and I have to. Come on, Nagash.
What like briefly? What's so cool about them? Because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're Nagash's super soldiers, built of the composite souls of a whole bunch of people, selectively curated to weed out the personality traits Nagash doesn't like a decent human
Kindness.
being, cowardice, stuff like that.
Humility.
But he does like stuff like part of what is cultivated by the ossiarch is still like artisans, poets, stuff like that. They end up being like they actually do things in their off time, like build society, stuff like that. All of course dedicated to Nagash, for such is his power. But they are like they do have cool stuff. They actually work with the living, the bone tithe. Once a year, you better give them X amount of bones.
These are
Or
just
they're-
Triarch Praetorians, bro.
Or they're gonna take them. Hey, Eli,
This is Triarch Praetorian lore.
why don't let's have a talk.
Fist fight.
Come.
Catacross,
I'm
if I remember correctly, he was just a regular mortal who there was other parts of different underworlds that lived in the realm of death, and then he basically encountered Nagash and went on a way to start conquering other afterlives. Like, well, the weird thing is like other afterlives were
remember,
next to each other, so he went around
his-
conquering them.
His society's afterlife ended up being like bureaucratic hell, except this was their heaven. And then he looked to the right and saw, like, heaven was like, what? Why am I here? Why can't I be over there? And then he started just marauding.
Heaven sucks. I want
I
out.
want the
His
other
model
heaven.
was sick as well, but their designs are cool as well.
Also,
Oh.
how many factions have conquered part of chaos? Oh, just them? Right, that's crazy. Just them.
Oh, wow.
Can't conquer death.
No, you
AOS
can't,
Lizardman. This is AOS Lizardman.
Could we just put like the normal lizardman next to him?
Yeah, they're kind
the
of
same
they
thing.
are the same thing.
Mhm.
I mean, they kind of have some cool stuff, with like the Slan now essentially being awakened.
Lord
in some
Croak
way.
alone has to bring him
Yeah,
up
he's
to
a
like
G.
the top of B tier.
He's the
Come on.
goat.
He
better than
stopped
Eldar?
time, not because he stopped time. Lord Croak, man. He didn't
Ah.
stop time because he stopped time. He stopped time because reality was buffering like a YouTube video that hadn't caught up yet.
Where's the other
Is that
lizard?
bottom right hand corner, Andy.
Oh, yeah,
Right
there
hand.
they are.
Yeah.
We might as well put them there then. Like, ta-da.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
S for
AOS
Skaven? Come
Skaven.
on.
Yes. Both Skavens
AOS
can go.
Skaven.
in
I think we didn't need two Skavens because the Skaven, even more so than the Lizardmen, are just the Skaven.
Yeah.
I mean, we just get the other Skaven one as well.
He's
while
at the
we're here.
bottom right again.
Yeah.
I don't think we don't need to justify it, but I mean, Thankwall is a ridiculously funny character.
And chatter in our in Lorecrimes chat.
The Skaven are either the most horrifying thing in the book or the funniest thing in the book, and it's great either way.
It's one of the best things that's part of Warhammer, honestly. It's one like it literally a lot of people like it keeps them invested in Age of Sigmar / fantasy stuff. It's literally just the fact that Skaven exist. Utterly hilarious characters, wacky, just a dynamite in a book form.
I have a question. Is it fair to say that the difference between Skaven and AOS Skaven is nothing because don't fix it if it's not broken?
No, they are the same. They are the same. They literally didn't die. They are ported over the exact same.
But the only difference is in Warhammer Fantasy, we had clan Moors or like clan Eshin, clan Scryer. In AOS, we have the clans of Scryer, the clans of Eshin. There was millions of clan Moors. Now there's millions of clans Moors.
Oh,
okay.
Fair enough. Who's this? Oh, this is Archeon, isn't it?
I think that's a Slaves to Darkness.
He's got a big pointy helmet. It's got to be
like them
Chaos.
more than the
Yeah.
Chaos Marines.
Wow.
It's Chaos Undivided, essentially, but AOS.
It's
I don't know
Archaon.
about S tier. That one generally
Look.
feels like quite generic in the AOS one.
Archaon won Warhammer.
Yeah, he
Can I
did.
just-
He
I don't
freaking
like
did.
the times, but he won.
Just looking at this, can I just do a quick meme? You know, HR wants you to find the difference between these two pictures. They're the same picture. Like, come on, it's the same thing.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
Is this
Beasts of
AOS?
Behemoth, or Sons of
Oh, it's
Behemoth.
Beast.
They're big giants. That's kind of
Wow. Crazy.
I mean, it's not the
See?
craziest lore, but it is enjoyable. It's like
See?
alright. Yeah, that's fine.
I have no reference.
Even
Middle
like
sea.
in their lore, like they're described as like when a hurricane shows up. It's like it's not terribly narratively important, but you have to deal with that now.
Did they beat Chaos Knights in lore?
Yeah, sometimes. Like Chaos Knights, like Chaos.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm glad they're there, but even I gotta admit, like,
Yeah.
Flesh. These are not fleshy
Vampires.
decors. These are
Soulblight Gravelords.
Soulblight Gravelords.
I hate Manfred.
Yeah, AOS ones.
I
they're
love
I
quite
do
Vampire.
love to hate him.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
I
the
do.
vampires.
They're bottom of B. They're cool. I'm collecting
Bottom
them.
B.
Their models are sick, but we're not ranking that. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna shut up for the next part because I.
All right.
It's best.
Oh, I was going to say
Norway.
this is a palate cleanser for you, surely. Right at the top. Ultramarines. You love
Oh, can-
Ultramarines.
Oh, if we're just counting them
come on,
as
S tier.
Ultramarines, S tier, baby. Come on, Ultramarines, baby. Let's go.
Doing
Let's
that
go.
Ultramarines are in there.
Got him. My strategy
that is-
worked. Done.
That is essentially the largest library of lore, maybe the
Yeah,
entire
they deserve
world.
it.
What are they, if
Right,
not
S
the
tier.
greatest of them all?
The Adeptus Astartes.
Similar to what Hal said, though, just imagine the Space Marine faction alone has more lore than most franchises
Yeah.
who have entire universes. That's what we're talking about here.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's the bad ones, but it's also the good ones as well. That's the thing.
Hmm.
I mean, that's got Blood Angels. No, Blood Angels will be their own separate thing, but
I love kicking Tau diplomats through their chest.
Uh-huh.
on
10,000
the
years
weekend.
of plot armor, but it's all good.
Bruh.
But it's
Goddamn.
funny sometimes. Sometimes it's really funny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
Colin does button
And there
up
are
to
also
a
moments of
Titus.
like.
Right.
Look, I like the
let's not forget
Tau
there
more
are
than
moments
Space
also of.
Marines, but
The Damocles
This also
Tau
encompasses.
were really annoying, so they kind of deserved
Well,
it.
I was just about to say, like, this also includes nice moments between Space Marines and Xenos, like the
Mhm.
Damocles with Corsaro and Shadow Sun, like,
Mhm.
if you weren't a filthy Xenos, we might have been friends. Yeah,
Mhm.
bye. Like, there are moments.
Shout out to
which is fun.
I'll get out of the way. Shout out to my Iron Hands,
Oh, look
Mr.
at this guy.
Furios.
Look at this guy.
Look how ridiculously decked out this dude is.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh,
Always
bruh.
in the time to show off.
The
his
painting
usual.
tailist overpal. It's the
put them
best.
up. Yeah, come on.
All right, jealousy. All right, jealousy.
Stormcast.
Eternals.
They hate us because they hate us.
Hells, I think it's time for you to say the line. It just needs more time to cook.
I mean, there's nothing else to say other than that, really.
I love Stormcast Eternals because they're what Games Workshop is trying to turn Space Marines into, but they don't have 20 years of preceding lore where Space Marines are fighting for a decaying, rotting empire, but we're trying to make them the superheroes. Guys, no, look, they're good guys. Trust us. Stormcast are just allowed to do that because they're new.
It's a shame because, like,
I must
there's
say,
there's a few glimpses of it in which the Stormcast, particularly in like Gotrek's books, or like there are some interesting things about them, but as a general sense, they don't have the depth that lots of the Space Marine stories have, even in the ones in which they are trying to add depth to them. I don't think they're
you know
bad
what the-
necessarily. But it's just I don't know. I can't get by. I don't feel like any care.
You know what? As someone who's seen, like, I watched the Black Talon TV show. I know a little bit about Stormcast. As someone who's like tried to get into them, I can't, because it's just the fact that they are immortal and they respawn. And you're like, yes, they lose their memory, but I'm like, I don't care. That's not big enough stakes for me to actually care about any battle they're in, because they're just going to respawn. I'm like, I don't. And even when they did a story about, the character's going through a bout of amnesia, it's not like it's like, oh, I forgot this one battle or who I used to be, and I'm like, I don't care because you're still here. Whereas like at least when a space marine dies,
it's
he
not
dies.
that relatable, honestly, is it?
I like that though, because one, I get what you're saying, Andy, but the side effect of that is that just means a space marine is never going to die or lose.
Yeah.
Or if they do lose, it's like the most contrived Marnius Calgar. Oh, he lost to the Swarm
Not every
Lord.
time.
No, he didn't.
I think
Jabal
the ultimate
Khan got mutilated by Huron Blackheart. Now he's like in like a vat on Chagoris
Against another space marine.
Yeah.
A naughty space marine. But again, there are moments like
the ultimate test is of anything in that list. If I had like, what would I be more interesting, or what would I be more interested in hearing a story about? Was it Stormcast or Karajan Overlords? Stormcast or like Nighthaunt or anything like that? And where it puts me in the list, I can't put it even in at the end of C tier, because I think even then I would I'm more willing to listen to a Karajan.
You
Overlord
need to read about Hamilcar Bear Eater because he is so much
I like
fun.
Hamilcar. I saw the animation about him, and I really enjoyed that, where he just destroys an entire orc encampment by being cocky and just being like, I'll bet this. Oh, I lost. Oh, no, I'll bet more. I'll bet more. And at the last moment, he's like, you better let me win, Sigmar. And he's like,
it's not about the model range at all. Like, honestly, just if it's just the lore and there was never a model about it,
this is my Arthur Bones
be interesting.
Yeah.
This is my Arthur Bones
right. Colin, as probably the most like you have the most insight into this faction. Genuinely, where do you think we should put them?
At least top of B. Genuinely, there is interesting stuff.
Before
their
Dark Angels.
Yes, because their overarching faction lore is incredibly cool. You get to see both return to old characters like good old Balthasar Gelt discovering who he was. You get new characters like Hamilcar. Their overall faction lore is something that at the time was pretty new for Warhammer, which is just an unequivocal, these are the good guys. They have the power to go toe-to-toe with chaos. Not the gods, obviously, but chaos, like big chaos warriors, and win. As opposed to Space Marines who go back home to be... Yeah, they have the power. Yeah.
To compromise, can I put them between Dark Angels and Death Guard? Because I can't, in my heart of hearts, say they're more interesting than Dark Angels. I can't say that.
Sure, Dark Angels have so much lore.
I love
at least they got something. Dark Angels have got something. They got some, and the fact that Felix is not currently. If Felix is in a Stormcast suit right now, I promise you, I'm with you. I'm your strongest soldier. I'll follow you into
Stormcast. Why do you have blouse sleeves? It's like, oh.
Chad, I'm trying. Chad, I'm trying. Also, yeah, Chad heard my beeping.
Yeah. Aggressive beeping when Colin gets angry.
Silver.
Incoming backup. I tried.
I love wood elves. I don't know any of their Sigmar lore though.
Alariel, she sure is there.
It's really lacking.
Alariel's had some cool character development. I don't know if she's above a Stormcast. If the Sylvan is above a Stormcast, I'm gonna riot.
I mean, what was it? She did was it the life wave thing?
Yeah, she undid Nagash's.
So people randomly get pregnant in different realms.
No, that's because the realms and towards the edges are wacky.
God,
and then Alariel doubled down on it.
Right next to the Fireslayers, because they're just
put them above the Fireslayer.
Yeah, it took a little bit.
Okay,
it's not bad, but it's not not good. Tau.
Tau.
I love Tau. I love Tau.
Eli, it's your turn. It's your turn to fight.
I'll pause.
Soapbox time for Eli.
Immortal. I mean, if we're being real, they probably should go around where the Eldar are, because their old lore is so good and their new lore is so bad. I don't know what else to tell you.
What's your problem with the new lore?
They're just a completely different faction. Well, I mean, not completely different, but they're so different. Their entire look and range is different. No one cares about the alien conglomerate anymore. We're just here for freaking storm surges and riptides and big mechs.
They have not been the Covenant for a while.
Whereas back in the older, I do like Farsight, but a lot of people also don't like those books because the old lore was fun. Like the ethereals were sketchy and very mysterious, but they not every single freaking moment of a Tau book was, oh, the ethereals are super evil and this empire is just as bad as the Imperium, and no actually any better.
Would you say they have a Dark Angels problem where they have one problem they fix it on so much,
I guess
that it overshadows the rest of their
overcommitted almost,
because they did start as this really cool addition to 40k as this kind of like bright, hopeful alien race that was bringing aliens together to fight together,
and they were still dark because they were the small fish in the big ocean.
There was nothing bigger than a broadside battle suit, and they were very alien looking. But as they evolved, now they're kind of just the anime mech faction, and they have a dark side to them, and they're barely any better than the Imperium. They just look nicer and have cleaner tanks. Like
Farside also you go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say that like they could have had the potential of like, we're increasing our technology so rapidly we could on an even footing like best the Imperium, but because we're so far behind we never will catch up, and that could be their thing. It's like we're overwhelmingly winning battles, but it doesn't matter because we're just going to get drowned in Astra Militarum Guardsmen.
Yeah,
and that's kind of their thing.
Rarest Pepe in the chat says they have their own god, which is also a horrible plot point. I
think I might need to go grab a soda to take care of that.
Okay.
I did. As cool as Farsight is, he's also getting to a point where he's got like the Primarch problem, where there could be a really cool Tau character, genuinely super well written, interesting, good to see, but someone said Farsight, and now no one cares because Farsight is here stealing the attention.
I love Farsight though. I do love him.
I do like him, but it's also
there are a lot of cool Tau characters that just don't get talked about. Case is a student of Pure Tide, and he's in 10 pages in War of Secrets, and
Fire Warrior is a really funny lore event.
Fire Warrior is
game
awesome.
Sucks.
Fire Warrior is an amazing book.
And people are still having a go at me because there's two different cases and they're two different characters, and people are like, oh, why didn't you put them in the same video?
I don't care.
Give them different names, please.
They're the same in my heart.
You play Dota 2, do you? I was wondering the chat. We're going to rank Dota 2 characters at some point, though, because Eli's needs
it. We're getting Dota 2 in the chat right now.
I want you to get any sugar for your blood.
Yeah, go get sugar.
Actually says gold.
When you've fallen unconscious during
Tower
the
cool. Tower cool. Put Tau right by Eldar. Okay, we already did.
1,000 Suns. Okay, no, don't you dare put that in F tier.
F tier. F tier.
All right, I'm going to put that in F tier while I go get a soda as well. Talk it out.
No. Okay,
I guess it's
to glaze.
It's just a duo podcast now.
I want to glaze for 1,000 Suns right now, though, because I promise you, Ironman books. I mean, I'll glaze it to chat. Ironman books, absolute win. They're pretty good. Although, if you get to book 4 and 5, you've gone too far. You don't have to read them, because they literally, the whole point of those two books to basically say, the last two things that happened didn't happen, and we went back in time. Love that part. Looks and aesthetics is always cool. Delving with magic is interesting. Just as like their things in the stories when they show up, they are interesting. What's one like adversaries and all other things. The general look of like their design is pretty damn cool as well. Interacting with tzeentch and stuff. It's not too heavy-handed. It's not literally like, and then Nurgle showed up and he blessed people directly. He's a bit more cunning, all that stuff. I do hate the Magnus stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I am Magnus. I am one of Magnus's biggest haters.
Whoa.
I literally hate the way he walks.
Commander Magnus.
One thing I would say is we've just talked about Tau having a Farsight problem. 1,000 Suns have an Ahriman problem. Can we have another character that isn't Ahriman? I like Kion. I like Kion in the Black Legion. He's cool. He's in 2 Black Legion books. We haven't got the third one. Where is the third book, please?
Ultimately, they're so tragic now. I feel so bad. Like if you like reading all their Horus Heresy books, you're just like, damn man, like all the cool guys just get killed and like or they die to some horrific death. It's so damn sad.
I love when my opponent puts down a red land, which lets him put down a soul ring, which gives him 2 free mana. And then next turn he puts down a land, and then from turn 3 onward, Magnus cheapens all sorcery, so there's 5 million sorceries getting played. And then there's a spawn every time he attacks, and he flies, so I can't block him because I'm playing Tyranids, and it's red, green, blue. 1,000 Suns, I think, are just red-blue because someone saw the TTS joke and made that how the 1,000 Suns actually play. I'm
I got first turn soul ringed. That's so funny.
People saying
I did get first turn soul ringed.
Just scoop, bro. Just scoop.
Hashtag Max did nothing wrong. Appreciate that, boys. Thankful put Eli's painting right now is crazy. You came last in the painting tier list, bro. Wow. That's a hate crime.
I did not come last in the painting tier list. Is that what you just said?
I will say though,
I did.
Yes.
Objectively, Thousand Sons lore, I'm gonna put it at the top of B because I think
that's fine.
It's really like it's good. It's not great, but it's really good. And I think A is like there's something about each of those factions in A. There's a little thing which is like that's like a really cool, great thing. The Thousand Sons thing is just a I like all the things of it, but it's also not my favorite meal.
How does it? How do you justify Ahriman losing to Yvraine?
Badly.
Jeez.
I would say.
Although you know what really grinds my gears about this faction, particularly with the lore, whenever they go, I'm dipping into the third enumeration and the fifth enumeration, but I'm going into, and they use all this jargon. I'm like, could you shut up and cast a spell?
Did anyone else just get the most intense deja vu?
to Rock Lee, Naruto.
Before.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've got
I thought of that too.
I have an interview with Graham McNeil coming out tomorrow. Shout out, quick plug there.
So big.
But I actually asked him about like there's a question talking about he was wanting to turn. I asked him like, well, if anyone wants to go see it, they can go check it out tomorrow. But I was asking about how you turned the Thousand Sons and what essentially was like goofy space wizards into like a legion. Is mentioning how like they had to be incorporating their magic into essentially what was like for like proper military combat, and to show that they were essentially above the rest. I did get Graham McNeil to answer a question when I said all the legions 1v1 who would win, and you have to see what he said about that. But that was a pretty cool thing. I also asked him if Magnus did nothing wrong, and he's settled it.
Wow.
I do like Thousand Sons a lot. I do glaze pretty hard for them.
Also, Quantum Cthulhu. Yes, I do know Revival Arvida exists, but he doesn't have any lore anymore because he's basically a White Scar orphan. So it's like cool. He's cool. He's like the founder of the Grey Knights. He's gone now.
Can I read that song out loud by Thankful?
What did you say? Hang on, I'll read it. Maybe I don't want to read that.
I don't know if I can read that. Jesus.
Let's hear it.
Hal straight Gooden to the corpse of Helen Keller.
Oh my gosh, man.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
Moving swiftly on. Speaking of Helen Keller, Tyranids?
What?
I don't know who that is.
Let's just put them like bottom of B because their lore, they will never have a character. They'll never have like depth.
Yeah. Hello, Eldar.
But but at the same time, like Tyr did show up. It's fun.
Yeah, they have cool units. Swarmlord is really cool. Always gotta love him.
Like they're cool. They're not
old one eye. Yeah,
maybe top of C.
I think B is fine. They lose every major conflict they win because of plot convenience. So yeah, that's great.
Unless the community gets to vote on it and then they win. Remember that when they had like what was it? The Leviathan planet. Yeah. I can't remember what it was called.
Who cares?
Yeah, but that's just like it's not McCraig or something.
It's the Imperium lost a world. Oh.
Thankful says, I always love the Thankful's in chat from how bro, because you say the most diabolical stuff.
You say horrid things
every week for nearly a year. Man has been saying
diabolical world eaters.
No,
okay, they're not.
It's not khorne. This is world eaters,
bro.
The Horus Heresy lore is damn cool. Khorne is
nails in my brain. How come you put the nails in your brain? I wanted to be like Dad. Well, I'm sorry, everyone. I love both my dads. I've got two. But if either of them told me to put nails in my head, I wouldn't do it. I'm radical settings, I know.
Well, no. If only we stopped killing each other and being so degenerate, we would stop making a god that would kill us.
Some of it's fine. Some of it almost makes sense. Nails in brain.
There are fun characters there. Like I like the Fabius Bile lieutenant, who's a world eater apothecary. I like the world eater Fire Fist, who's in the Black Legion, who hates being called Fire Fist because he used to carry around a plasma cannon. It blew up in his hands during the Siege of Terra and he couldn't fight. He's like, don't call me Fire Fist. And it's like, yeah, they have fun characters. They're not always just frothing at the mouth. They are fun.
I'd like to give two things. One, I like Skrull from
Skrull is fun
because he's
funny. Yeah.
There's everyone else is doing plot
characters.
stuff, and he's just stuck on this battleship.
Their aesthetic is like that artwork there. Their aesthetic is so damn cool as well.
Yeah, it's
one of the most recognizable parts of like Warhammer.
Yeah, and
genuinely super sad and depressing. Like a lot of their Horus Heresy stuff is quite. They are in and they feature in some of the better books in the entire series. You can't knock that. Their 40k stuff not super strong compared to their 30k stuff, but I just like the fact. I just love the fact like when you have like World Eaters or you're literally talking about them, it's like it's a whole meme of like literally just like anything you have to say to me, Con. I literally just yell at you and like attack you.
I was about to say, I would like to announce total Colin victory that I have got Hal, the Amber King, who I would say has the most like elegant channel we all have, down to my baby Matt of.
I think I'm allowed to like it.
I know you are.
The guy, the apothecary that works with Fabius, he's really cool too. The world
leader one. And Drukhari is cool. He's the Black Shield who's like, I'm leading a warband, and there's points in the book where some of his men are like, I'm going to defect, and he just like goes. Anyone else want to? No, fine. And he holds them in line through violence. And you're like. Anytime a World Eater is involved, it's usually a fun extra little spice to the setting.
I don't know if I can put it in A though.
I think they deserve A tier. Of course, I'm gonna say it
because they are really held back by their 40k lack of characters.
They're not all bad in 40k though. Still plenty good 40k stuff.
Maybe still fun in 40k because everyone else is just like, oh, that's Khorne. We're gonna.
They do hit the fun. They hit the fun spot quite. Maybe bottom of A.
Yeah, like Kabanda's my Shalom did say in the chat, everyone knows Blood for the Blood God.
Yeah.
Every freaking person.
And if that, like, kill, maim, burn.
Yeah. Like, that goes hard. That goes freaking hard.
You'll just hear armies chanting that when Khorne.
I want to let the galaxy burn, bro.
And I love how, like, there's that story where a demon summons Khorne to basically harass Azrael in one of his like mini books, and then Azrael's like, "Oh God, it's Khorne," and then he escapes, and then the demon's like, well, and he's like, "I'm going to trap you with Khorne in the ship as I escape," and then he's like, "So I hope I didn't like cause you too much trouble, Khorne, by summoning you to this random ship in the middle of nowhere." And he's like, cracks knuckles, he's like, I love like that. He just like appears, and he's just a menace anytime he's around. It's like that's always fun. He's just like a wrench in the gears in any story he's in, and usually even the Black Crusades is like, Khorne's here. Oh God! All right, get away from him. Let him do his own thing. It's like there's kind of a charm to that.
He's like just an occupational hazard you might have to deal with in a battlefield. It's like, oh, Khorne's here. We need to work around that area now.
Yeah, he's a force of nature you've got to avoid. You can't beat him. Just like, oh no.
DJ Beta's Glup Shitto tier list when true. That's a sororitas.
I like them.
I do like
really cool stuff.
I honestly think they're in some ways like the ultimate embodiment of the Imperium, more so than the Guard, because it's just that pure, unrelenting faith in the God Emperor.
There's the I'll make Colin read this book one day. It's the Yarrick is when Yarrick is like young, and there's a character called Sethano who then appears later in the War of Armageddon book that Yarrick features in, and is a sister of battle who essentially her order is destroyed. She has to wear like the don like grey robes, so she's orderless, but she's still a sister of battle. And it's one of the most like hardcore, like crazy scenes I've ever seen in Warhammer, in which they're trying to stall Ghazghkull's like massive hordes on Armageddon, and she essentially is like, they're in the middle of like a hive city. There's billions of people, and they're evacuating out all civilians. And they're like, we need to delay them in here. And she's like, I've got this. She runs to the prison, and they have like this prison loader thing up, and they just keep bringing up like literally, I don't know, like a conveyor belt of prisoners that she just chants like full screaming. Like she tells them before, like, you can find redemption in the Emperor if you follow me. And she like full on blaring fire. I assume probably an entire day was yelling and then sending in hordes a conveyor belt of like meat and prisoners against an oncoming orc horde, and it was to the point where she inspired such ridiculous like zeal and fury that the fact that the orc menace had actually like stopped briefly for a moment whilst the clog of meat and humans were equally fighting against the orcs because they were so inspired by like a sister of battle.
We need to make a wall of man paste, chuck them into the meat grinder.
Don't word it like that. Don't put it like that.
It's a crazy part of the book because like a one weird side character guy who basically goes like he literally his whole arc for like a few pages like notice me senpai, because he's begging for her to like see him in his religious zeal as a massive orc mech like clamps him in half and then he splits in two. It's ridiculous. I love it, and every time Yarrick sees her, she's like he literally grows. Like every time she's around, there's literally going to be an enormous battle. That's the only time he ever sees her. He's like, oh no. But yeah, they have some crazy characters,
and things like the Book of Martyrs are fun because like all three characters, it's called the Book of Martyrs because they all die, and just one of them bludgeons a Tower Ethereal to death with her bare hands when she's captured. Good fun. Just they're so zealous. It's fun because that's their whole gimmick, but it's a good gimmick. What can I say?
Put them below Dark Eldar because there's something about
Dark Eldar. Sisters are top of S tier. Sisters are top of S tier.
No,
they are the perfect Warhammer 40k faction. They're cooler than Space Marines. They're cooler than Guard. They fit perfectly into the setting. They're picture perfect image of the entire Imperium of men.
I've got to be fair. If we're going to put the ogres here, just because they do what they do exceptionally well, surely we've got to put them above the ogres.
That's fair.
You know what?
I'm just saying
they are the perfect Warhammer faction.
They're not better than Skaven though.
I was going to say if we put Skaven for their thing, we put the ogres for their thing. They can go there for their thing. I think that makes sense. I
need you guys to read that Yarrick book, by the way. The Yarrick books are amazing.
I will break your precious state's laws and release a horde of rats into your house.
Gene Stealer Cult.
I love my beloved.
I mean,
beloved
Eli might be the strongest soldier for this. The only downside, they are a bit too often used as like the generic bad guys and a lot of other things. So they kind of lose their sparkle a lot of the time.
Dude,
they are interesting though. Like there's obviously like
cooler than Tyranids, if you ask me.
The aspect of like them basically being a human infection in some way is quite fascinating. The book they have, which Eli, which one is it? It's Day of Ascension.
Day of Ascension. Yeah,
they got some pretty good. They have not many solo books, but the ones they do have are good. I don't know if their gimmick is stronger than, being fair, I will say top of B is more interesting than 1,000 Suns for a lot of people.
I love one of the Warhammer TV Hammer and Bolter episodes where it's like this planet's being besieged and they're evacuating and there's this family trying to evacuate and the whole thing is following them trying to escape. And there's a bit at the end where the commissar is like, hey, and there's this militarum officer trying to help them on the last ship, and he's like, they don't have permits, we haven't checked them, and you hate this commissar. And then at the end of the episode, it's like, oh, they've escaped and they've got the baby, and it turns out the baby's a Tyranid, and they've all got these heads.
Gene Stealer cults,
and it's like, oh, you tricked me.
Gene Stealer cults are one of like the prime examples of why the Imperium has to function the way it does, or it will die, and that the oppression is actually a good thing.
Well, the thing is, you go through the whole episode going, oh, that commissar was a dick. Oh, I hate them. And then you're like, oh, that guy sacrificed himself. And then they're on the shuttle. And then you go, oh, no, actually, I'm with the commissar, actually. He was trying to do the right thing.
The Imperium has to be like this.
And what they don't show you is the 100 examples where they just shot a random child needlessly for funsies.
Yeah.
But that's what you got it too. Because if
we're going to take it seriously, they do not need to do that. You are out of. They do not.
No. Because listen, if the one time that they miss the right one, trillions of people are dead. One planet is gone. Trillions of people are dead.
How many Games Workshop authors need to say the Imperium is needlessly cruel before someone finally gets it in their fucking head?
I do love the other animation with the salamander guy on it, and it's like, oh, I've got to save this bunch of survivors off this planet, and they all run off, and you don't see them for the rest of the episode. And then the last shot is the one little girl walking through the woods as the Astra Militarum are combing through it, and she's like, oh, and then she gets shot, and you're like, Warhammer, amazing.
I'm not.
No
Doesn't
one
mean
can
that
have
the
a nice
Imperium
time.
are good for what they do, but it is completely necessary. GW
is
just
not-
says that because
it is-
they made them look too cool, and now they have to go back on the things that they do. It's very clear in the lore that if the Imperium didn't do what they did, Chaos cults and Gene Sailor cults would just take over the entirety of the
They
Imperium
may
because
have
the
those
Emperor
chaos
didn't
cults
tell the
because
Primarchs
they
about
suck
chaos.
so bad. It
It's the
sucks so
Emperor's
bad.
fault,
That's why
bro,
those
all right?
chaos cults arise, because it sucks in the Imperium so bad that they go turn to hell.
Well, if the Emperor told the Primarchs about chaos, none of this would have happened.
No, it would have just
Ogres.
still been a shit empire with rebelling
Ogres
planets
can
all the
next to the other
time.
Ogre kingdoms, I think. They're probably
More
the
ogres.
same.
Wait,
why
we
are
have
there
to we have
two
to make sure we
ogres?
do the distinction. Ogres and ogors, isn't it?
I'd put the Ogors behind the regular
Fantasy is not
Yeah,
good.
Ogre
Come
Kingdoms and
on.
Fantasy is better. Next one is Chaos
Warriors of Chaos,
Unlimited
that's
Chaos.
Fantasy. Now
counts,
this
I
one
guess.
is
Better than
actually
Chaos Space
much more
Marines.
interesting than.
Do you like power armor and Warhammer? You have them to thank for it.
They are like their fantasy, like the story of Archaon, their array of like many different like undivided characters. They're much more like they're way more fleshed out compared to a lot of other things. And generally, I enjoy Chaos Undivided a lot in fantasy, more so compared to 40k. So I'm happy with them being there. I don't know if they're more enjoyable than Ogre Kingdoms, but as a gimmick, I mean, Colin might
Whenever I
weigh in on it.
see, I just gotta say, whenever I see artwork like this, they just went into like a kinky S&M shop, and they're like, "What do you want?" So say, "I want all of it."
Give me the shop.
And put the receipt.
I
Alien
like
ogres
them
are better.
because they're just evil and they don't try and justify it, and it's beautiful. And then they expand into why they're evil because they live in a frozen hellhole right next to actual hell.
What is
They're
thank
like, Hell's great. Everyone should have hell. It's amazing.
I'd be evil too if I was born in Norska.
Vermintide lady. Wood elves.
Lambafoots.
What?
It's Wood Elves.
There's some
I mean,
Eldar slogan I'm not aware of.
there's something
Lapis
to
red.
them, but I don't know. Again, like
Is this just Wood
maybe
Elves?
put them above the Stormcast. They are more interesting than the Stormcast.
That's reasonable. I think every fantasy.
Yeah,
I
I mean, like the Woods of Athaloran is an interesting part of it.
is there any Sigmar factions that are better than their fantasy counterparts, Colin?
Flesh Eater Courts is better than the version of Ghouls in.
Yeah.
But ghouls aren't really a faction as much.
And if they're meant to be Bretonia, then Colin would definitely say they're
Vampire
better than Bretonia.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of not really though.
Don't
Speaking of that,
do it.
Bretonia, I love
Do it.
Bretonia. I love
Do it.
Bretonia.
F tier.
Is they are
F
not
tier.
F tier? They are not F tier.
F-tier. You can't.
Oh my gosh.
Let's look at the Empire of Man, a dynamic,
Well, the
constantly
Empire Man is
changing,
S tier. I'm not saying that they're
constantly
S tier, bro.
changing civilization
Oh my gosh.
that is surely, based off of the Holy Roman Empire, but actually, quite a bit of legwork done into it. Let's go to Bretonia. Hey, you like King Arthur? All right, I'm with you. What else do you got for me? What do you mean, what else do I have for you? Do you like King Arthur? Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Are they
instead of-
cooler than
With
Mechanicus?
the power of fate, lady, they can achieve.
They are
more
not
than
cooler
that.
than the Mechanicus.
Oh,
Okay,
The
are they
Green
cooler than
Knight.
idoneth Deepkin?
The fact that they are, I can't even see the F tier right now is
my gosh. Oh my
is
gosh.
driving
They are
me
they're
forward.
a Warhammer Fantasy faction. They are A tier. Oh my
I'm
god.
pretty sure Colin likes them as much as Skaven anyway. So
you will get the rat package.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just imagining
in all
Colin with a
fairness-
box.
B tier.
in all fairness, I'd even say I feel the same way about them, like as strongly as I feel for Tyranids. And I'm like, it's cool, it showed up, but I wouldn't really buy a book about it. I wouldn't. Actually, to be fair, they do
Got
have
more
actual characters
personality
in
than
the
a
series.
Tyranid. Come
Maybe I'm
on.
being unfair.
And
Maybe
all the
Tyranid
characters
is
are
good.
cool. I think
Unfortunately, I hate that
Two
personality.
characters.
Louis
Alright,
is
you know
cool.
what?
Stormcast, right?
Cool.
Yeah,
Give them B tier.
Colin, you have to admit it. You have to admit it.
I don't have to admit shit.
God.
Right, hold on. Colin, are they better than Dark Angels? Here's the litmus test.
Wow.
No,
Oh,
He wants to put it in F tier.
I don't like that.
You can't.
Arthurian boy
They
versus
are not
Arthurian
F
boy.
tier, bro.
Dude literally was like studied history,
God.
loves history, and then immediately hates the most medieval faction there is.
Yeah, because everything else, when they base it off history, they at least do something with it, with the exception of Araby, which is just Sultan Jafar.
What do you mean? Empire is Holy Roman Empire. Like,
Yeah, but it actually is holy. Two, it's actually an
They have
empire.
steam tanks. To be fair.
There's actually interesting stuff in it. Not just, hey guys, look,
Definitely
King
not
Arthur.
Roman.
Don't you
So
like
they
King
cannot be
Arthur?
F tier. F tier is no lore. F tier is Leagues of Votann, bro. They cannot be F tier.
He's getting baby mad.
I am getting baby. I've been
escalates
perpetual baby
even
mad
more.
for the last 20 minutes.
All right, Beastman.
Beastman. I like it when the
Beastman
No, I
taking
like
a single
when the
W in the
No,
entire
I
history
love
of
Beastmen, but
Warhammer.
they're F tier because they got retconned out of a game twice. They got Old Worlded,
Orcs
which
the
got
brass
destroyed.
ball,
And
knocks
then
on
they got
your
removed
door. You're
from
gonna
Age of Sigmar.
apologize, okay? You're gonna apologize when the Beastmen show up, and when Kazrak One Eye shows up and he's at Thanksgiving. You're gonna apologize, okay?
I'm not gonna apologize because me would probably win in a book if Beastmen
You know
were
what? Top of
involved.
D. Top of D. Tim. Top of D. Come on.
Yeah, I think D tier is some. They have characters and stuff.
They have them.
Kazrak
also
does
being
Kazrak
40K
even?
a
No, he
bit.
doesn't beat Boris. Does
No,
Boris? kills
Boris
Kazrak.
kills
kills him, and then all the
one.
Beastmen around Boris rip him apart because he walked into a Beastman camp to do that.
Oh, Chaos
Chaos Dwarfs. Chaos Dwarfs.
They're cool.
They're funny.
I know the
Yeah.
general lore, and I like them.
They're there.
They
They're
don't have that.
they're
fancy.
Iron Warrior dwarfs.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
They're
top
neat.
of C. I could go with.
Yeah, they're above Tyranids.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can put them into B.
Their overarching lore is pretty damn cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've-
S for Cetra.
Maybe that's lower than it should be, but I can't. I don't know if I want to put them in B.
Yeah.
We can't justify putting any higher, so well. Tomb Kings are pretty cool, right?
Oh come on, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like Tomb Kings.
I put them above Sororitas. Actually, no, just below Sororitas, above Warriors of Chaos.
Just below Skaven.
You can argue
Apparently
that
just
if you
below
want.
I am Cetra's strongest soldier.
really.
I know, but Cetra's like the
Really?
one thing that carries it so strongly, though. I don't know.
All right,
and then-
here's a compromise. So we put them next to Necrons because they're basically the same thing, just in different settings.
I get, but Necrons just have so much more lore because they are 40k. Right.
True.
Maybe you think Cetra? If someone says Cetra solos Imhotech, I don't think Cetra.
That's crazy, bro.
Oh, dude, he's so right. He's so true.
That's crazy.
Thankful is finally cooking.
Oh,
I think
gosh. That's
maybe
crazy.
he could fight a Tomb Guard.
Hmm.
Like that's his level. Next one.
Should we-
Fantasy Orc.
Fantasy Orcs.
Oh,
I-
I love Grimgor, and I love you, Grimgor.
I like Warzak because he dances.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Can we
All
put
their
them-
characters are actually
Some of the
really
other
fun
orcs.
and really have a lot of personality.
Skarsnik is actually like a pretty cool character.
Ozza,
They've done it
whatever,
again.
really cool.
HR wants you to find the difference. Same picture.
They're slightly different.
That Grimgor doesn't have a gun.
There's a few more. No, I put them above the 40k ones. But we have a few more interesting characters.
Shout out to old orc lore where you could have half orcs.
Whoa.
That was
crazy.
a thing.
Fantasy high elves.
Bro, honestly, all the fantasy factions are S tier to me.
It's not. I can't put them in S tier, honestly.
I'm gonna go with A tier.
I would go
Where?
for A tier.
Haters. Freaking haters, man.
Where
It's difficult because I like.
This tier
Better
list
than these
placement
guys,
brought to
right?
you by the dwarfs.
I'm like this in here. I like Tyrion. I don't like Teclis.
Come August, we're gonna have some choice fucking
I
words.
think like a Teclis.
What is that? What is that?
A little. Teclis a little bit like he pushed up his glass and he's like, "Oh, I'm so interesting." Like I don't think he's as interesting.
But it's not
as
just
other-
about the
You don't
characters.
think he's not as interesting as
It's not
Tyrion?
just about the characters, though. They have a lot more than just
Altharion
Teclis
the
and
Grim
Tyrion.
is more interesting than Teclis to me. Just because it reminds it's a bit more like hardcore. Like
They've got witch hunters.
who's
a
the
non-human faction with an Inquisition?
I'll be honest. I'm
There's a
looking
lot
for
of
like
history.
a Glorfindel type elf in
Lord of
the
the
high
Rings.
elves. That's what I'm more drawn towards. I'm not the scholar type
But
necessarily.
this is one character. Why is one character keeping them out of S tier?
Why is Teclis the one sinking it for you?
No, but I think like there are other parts of it which I don't like. If there's a Warhammer Fantasy story, like say if there's no book,
Right.
I wouldn't be that gassed if they were like, we're gonna set it on Ulthuan, like or parts like or dealing with high elf stuff. I want to see Skaven stuff. I want to see orc stuff. I would rather see Empire of Man way more. Like I'd actually be excited for that if it was set. You know, if I had a range of things, it would come last place to some of the other things that I want to see in Warhammer Fantasy. Not that it's bad, it's just very much like there are other things that are just way better. So you're like,
way better.
I think
way better is a strong way to
I
put
think we should never have another tier list because because I'm just gonna fight with everyone. That's all I've learned with today.
Well, it does come. That's like those personal taste things. So like,
wait, wait,
That's for Andy. I don't fight with Andy.
I was going to say like
2v1 right now for the high elves. Why is Hal winning?
Colin, don't worry. We're gonna make it all better, right?
Please, he's there. I see.
I
Half
put
friends.
them below the
Half
other
friends.
kingdoms.
S.
Oh,
do not say that, Hal.
Get him up there. You are insane.
Yeah, where am I supposed to put him?
Empire of
that
Man
wasn't directed at you.
Yeah,
it must be above Space Marines.
You put the high elves below the ogres.
That's crazy.
What?
That is crazy.
You didn't tell me where to put it.
Colin and I are robbed in every tier list, dude.
You didn't tell me.
Like, we put a poll.
Staring
in
at Victor
the
for like
comments,
5 minutes. Oh, we'll put him here. Is that better?
Can we put a poll for people like Ogre Kingdoms versus High Elves?
We're not putting that poll because our chat hates elves. Our chat hates elves.
Please.
I thought you were going to say our chat hates us.
Also, it's arguing for Colin, so they're going to vote against Colin.
Andy, put the poll.
Right.
I beg, I swear to Boingor, please put the poll.
That's crazy. You know what? Beal 10 won the last. Beal 10 won the verses. That's all I care about.
All right, hold on. I have to open a new window. All right, so hold on. Is Empire fine where it is, or do you want it higher?
Is it in S tier?
Space Marines.
It's in S tier.
Put it above the sisters. The Empire has so much lore.
Yeah.
Let me just pop to
the Empire is generally the most interesting part. I think Fantasy, and for good reason. Damn good stories. Godric and Felix is technically an Empire story in some way.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I mean, like that. Godric and Felix is his own faction. I would carry that as his own thing.
Where are we going? Where's this going?
I think they should be above orcs. They should be above both the orcs. In my opinion,
I put it.
He's gonna do it again.
I was gonna say, is it above? Would you be willing to put it above Space Marines?
Me, yes, but Andy,
not me.
I don't know if I'll do that to Andy.
I'm just saying. Like, I understand that they're cool, but like, this is literally the biggest.
Yeah.
This alone is more than most franchises ever get in their entire tenure.
I feel like they're good.
I do feel good about the list though. Like, I feel like everything is in a good spot.
All right, Hal, what was the poll you wanted?
High elves.
You want to put
more versus?
Bro, this poll is rigged. This is like we're not going to win this poll.
Right? No, just let the people
high elves versus ogres.
Because if I'm wrong, I'll just say I'm wrong about it.
Why are ogres better than high elves?
Because
why is their lore better?
Like in hearing
what?
Them
what do you mean they're way more interesting? Their lore is they're fat and they eat food, and they worship a hole in the ground.
Exactly.
Oh, you split in the middle. It's split straight down the middle with 12 votes already.
Nothing but dummies.
They get W's because they've got like 3 lore events.
It's great, but that doesn't make them better. Oh my god!
Oh wow, it's so close.
Yeah, but so much.
Right, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to leave that. We're going to get back.
There's a few things in the high elf
thing
that is just generic and boring, though.
Okay, yeah, but then they have 10 other things that are interesting and unique.
Yeah, the ogres
even as a fan of Space Marines. Space Marines are kind of generic and boring at a certain point, but I still love them. All right, let's take a second. Take a breath.
I may be wrong about it. That may be me.
Let's.
I love the Imperium of Man.
Let's all unite around our shared hatred of Vlad von Manfred von.
Oh, I love vampires, bro. I love vampires.
Manfred
vampires is so cool. Vampires, top of 8 at least. Top of 8. I love vampires. They didn't miss with a single vampire character. That includes Manfred.
I'd honestly put it bottom of if it all. Maybe just below Adeptus Sororitas. It's generally one of the most interesting things about fantasy for me. I like not Manfred specifically, but I do generally like one of the first things I was learning about Warhammer lore was I was listening to very early lore videos about it, and vampire counts. Like before Total War Warhammer, the first one came out, I was listening to vampire counts lore, and I was like, "Damn, this stuff is just so cool." Because when that trailer dropped for Total War Warhammer 1, and Manfred, who I didn't know was Manfred at the time, he dropped down on like the zombie dragon. I was like, "Oh man, they got vampires in Warhammer Fantasy." Okay,
yeah, vampire dragons.
Yep.
I just Vampire Wars, Vlad, all that good stuff. Oh, the true Phoenix
are S tier.
Down bad, man.
My Asser nationalism is acting up.
He is. We have the birth certificates. He's the true Phoenix King. Actually, S tier for sure. S tier. Maybe not above
is a really cool character, and I like him a lot. I do, however, also think the Warhammer world would be infinitely better if someone kicked him in the ribs as a child.
Okay.
They also have Malice, Darkblade, and Lokir Felhard, and all the goats.
All right, Lokir Felhard is not on the same level as Malice Darkblade.
No, but he's cool. He's a cool thing that they have. That's all I'm saying. He's not on the same level. But
I guess at the level of he's a cool thing, by that metric, the ogres. Let's bring him back up here.
Oh my gosh. Malice Darkblade alone has like 3 books, right? Or more.
I may be as well as I'm slightly biased because I may be buying the ogre spearhead. So
all's forgiven. All's getting AOS. All's being S tier. Ogres double S tier.
I got my eye on that for Christmas this time.
Wait, hold on.
Dark Elves
where
I like them more than Skaven, but that's not gonna fly, so that's okay.
Chip in, Hal. I have no point of reference.
Dark. I mean, again, like so much of it is cool. Malice Darkblade, as we said earlier, is pretty damn cool. Storybooks, general faction aesthetic is amazing. They don't really have anything that's like that sucks in the entire faction at all. Like everything's kind of a W. I think maybe bottom of S, is probably the perfect place to put it.
But high elves suck, bro. High elves are the worst, bro. I hate high elves.
I didn't say I hated high elves. I just said I didn't think it was S tier.
Send this man to the flame of Asturian to burn forever.
I'm just honestly, I may be the Ogre Kingdom's strongest soldier because I just.
All right, Colin.
So
where do you? Because this is the last one. Where do you think they should live?
I'm content with them somewhere in S tier. I'd put them above Warriors of Chaos because the characters mostly definitely have a lot more going on there.
Did we have Norse going on
here? Do you think Ogre Kingdoms is S tier? Just
we didn't have Norse.
I guess no, Norse is not an actual army though. I guess that's why.
Oh, okay.
Same with Emperor's Children. Oh my gosh. Which, by the way, the Emperor's Children shoulder pads reveal is not looking good. But it's okay.
I think it's all right.
They look like they were taken straight off of My Mini Factory, bro. I could find that STL on the internet for free.
Oh my!
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Remember when we thought we weren't going to have enough time for a full thing with just this?
Yeah, we have another tier list, but we're not going to have time for that.
We should read through the donations.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll go through the donations and then we'll see. We'll see what the poll was in the end. So let me just put that back. Okay,
the Khorne stuff is pretty damn good. And they did well with like the Khorne release. Sorry, World Eaters release as well. My purple, I can't really see it, but my purple ones.
Okay.
Khorne.
Very nice.
So we've got a few donations to cap off the show. So starting off, we've got Tom Warren for $2. You're all going in the space book. Yep. We've already filled volumes of the space books.
Spacebook says this is horrendous.
Yeah. Your Joe gave us 2. The first one was I was there when Horus said I like voicemail, and the Emperor shat himself. He also said I was there when Horus said Hal looking like human Mr. Ratburn and did the gritty.
Horus speak here.
Yeah.
You guys want to read a few of them?
Sure. Donkey Man USA
about 9
5.
left.
Speaking of rats, I finished my Queek/World Eater kit bet. Huge, absolutely huge.
Nice.
John Hudson with the 5. I want to replace a Taucast with the Skaven or make them auxiliaries. So true. Skaven everywhere.
Rod auxiliaries? Not going to happen. But
Beast Rod aren't really Skaven. They're the weird.
I
know.
Things. They used to be though.
They were.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Fantasy fan here.
Thank you.
Beastman from Sweden, 100 SEK. Can't wait for future Stormcast book where at the inevitable last stand, after a touching scene about brotherhood and battle, the next thing they hear is lightning screaming, "I am supreme." So he gets it.
Supreme.
Gelt is here. Everything is Gelt. You can never escape Gelt. I love Gelt.
You know what? If I hear randomly the Stormcast thing where it's like, is to go even further beyond, I will lose it.
Super Saiyan Stormcast Sigma right. Let's go.
Commander's Mighty Schlong of Cygnus is still the best name I've ever heard. $5. People who know nothing about Warhammer know blood for the blood god. That's very true. Document USA for $5. Need a Lorecrimes supercut of everything heinous Hal has ever said. How much time do you have? You were there to witness it. You
Gonna be a compilation.
John Apocalypse for £2 says AOS ogres are better because of the winter curse. Oh, they're followed by that massive hurricane winter.
But they don't have the big hole in the ground.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I like the Great Maw.
Their models are so freaking cool.
Mr. Milov again for the 2 BGN. Mr. Hand is butthurt about Bretonians.
Wow.
You gotta, hey, you know, some of you in the chat, you know, H. Milov, Thankful. I want you to call your family and say the words you say in our chat to them, and just tell me what happened. Tell me the reaction.
Or
That's
even
all I want.
your employer, perhaps.
Yeah, call your employer, or like, you know, depending on, you know, your college professor. Just say these words. Just say these words.
See what happens.
Dude, missed
Tom Warren.
Okay, so good.
Sorry. I was going to say Tom Warren donated. Oh, sorry.
The guy who just put more ussy. Like, why would you ever say that?
You put it on the thumbnail, Hal.
Yeah, you
True.
Because I knew people will click on it.
Yeah. Anyway, Tom Warren donated $2. The Empire is the only faction with the Warhammer.
That's true.
Yeah,
they have the IP.
New Zealand?
Templar
Someone's watching from New Zealand? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Templar Warden. 5 New Zealand
Niz.
bucks. I keep forgetting I'm watching this live because I'm used to not being able to talk about your terrible opinions.
Wow.
What's the thing? Warhammer is different for everyone, though. We all feel differently. Angry Homunculus, £2. Can you guys add Trench Crusade factions? I mean, some of them
one day.
Will do. They are.
I've heard good things about it.
It's very early
I've not
days
looked
for
into
Trench Crusade, but you know, maybe one day when we get further in, we actually may have Trench Crusade channels. Who knows?
I'm still a bit miffed that Napoleon Dynamite interviewed or is doing a documentary about Trench Crusade. It's like, huh? Yeah, the actor who played Napoleon Dynamite. There's a photo of him on Twitter the last week or so, and he's just like stood next to him. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing a miniature wargaming documentary. Here's the Trench Crusade guy." It's like, vote for Pedro Cantor. Amazing. But yeah, the results are in from the poll.
Wow, this is
so
huge.
52% elves.
God bless you. God bless you all.
So close.
That's
so
pretty close. That's close to the for comfort, is it? That's crazy.
To 40 to the 41% banned.
Oh, it's not
banned.
52, 58. So 58, not 52. 58%.
I would say some people
That's
probably voted for ogres just to spite the rest of YouTube. So it's probably
That's what I thought all the vote would be.
The thing was, as soon as I pressed it, about a second later, it was like 15 votes, and it was neck and neck, 50-50. I was like, "Oh, this is good.
This is a big day.
This
is a big day for elf kind.
Crazy."
But yeah, I will say we won't have time for the second tier list. We were going to talk about zombie games and ranking them, but I will just say there's like 60 options here, so we're definitely
maybe next time.
Maybe by another time, maybe. Yeah, that'd be.
Thank you everyone who donated as well, particularly. Thank you so much. Again, if everyone wants to grab merchandise for Christmas, go ahead. We've got plenty of things to really repel all of the people in your life. Appreciate it. Again, thank you guys so much for listening, for watching. If you made it this far, obviously, please like. We are off some offline stuff as well. Spotify.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was thinking that too. I think we did miss dwarves.
Oops.
Sorry, we interrupted Al.
Also,
disclaimer, I think every Warhammer faction is cool, and it's okay to like whatever Warhammer faction you like. Even Leagues of Votann, maybe.
I would like to double down on that statement. However, I will add, I will still make fun of you if you pick a faction I don't like. But I respect your right to choose.
We need a versus episode where we bring in Arthur Bones to defend Leagues of Votann versus anything else.
4v1.
I could do
Wow.
Leagues of Votann versus
I was defending them a bit.
Agents of the Imperium, and I just you
No,
can
I
still
don't
win.
hate them. They're the only faction that I just don't really like care about, though. I like every other faction a lot. Maybe them and Custodes. Everything else.
I have a lot of hateful things
we
to say
rank
about
Space
that.
Wolves? Did we miss Space Wolves?
I think,
And
maybe
Invaders?
there's a few we missed, but we can't anymore. But thank you everyone for making it this far in. Obviously, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We appreciate you all, love you all. Thank you for the heinous comments, as usual. Appreciate it.
Tune in the next stream to watch me get baby mad again. It's my only source of winning an argument.
It's funny though.
Truly, thank you for helping us trigger Colin a little bit, pulling him on the high elves, particularly as well. His bias knows no bounds. We'll see you all very soon, though, with some more lore, more good stuff, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Bye, everyone.
Well,
Bye bye.
see you next time.